justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule at the defense rests.
Can you hear me now? Oh, really? After all that? Oh, crap. Okay, I'll start again, shall I? My apologies. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to my beautiful subscriber family. Welcome to any newbies who are here for the first time. Today we are picking up where we left off on the Treehouse murder trial, which the first trial occurred in January of this year and was declared a mistrial. Now, the main witness, who is also a co-defendant, has taken the stand and has had his direct examination, and we're picking up where Tyrone now, as a pro se defendant, is defending himself, begins his cross-examination of this defendant. Now, this witness. Now, this witness is pivotal in that it's alleged that, well, it's not alleged, he has actually since recanted his statement as untrue, and this testimony is based because he was offered a plea deal to testify against Tyrone Tucker. He was convicted and had a life sentence hanging over his head, and accepted time served, which was only 5 years, so that if he would cooperate with the state, basically, and testify against Tyrone. There is absolutely no evidence, physical evidence whatsoever, that ties him to this trial, to this crime, none whatsoever. So, in my opinion, he is innocent. And the only reason that I believe it went to a mistrial on the first case was because he just purely inexperienced and not sure how to preserve the record and get the information that he required to get in, and how to ask the questions. And you'll see with this, with John Travis Johnson's answers, he asks him too many open-ended questions and allows him to elaborate far too much. He needs to rein him in and keep it on fact. He could have been a lot more organised as well with his time stamping on videos and evidence exhibits and what have you. I know it's a hard job, but if that's the choice that you're going to make to defend yourself, then you need to step it up and do the best job that you can. So the retrial was set for September 9th, but has been continued until a date unknown yet. We have a status hearing on the 15th of October, and hopefully we will get some more information then. Now, this trial, if you're new to it, has a lot of allegations of corruption within the Florida Keys, right down from the district attorney, who was at the time Colleen Dunn, who has been suspended from the Florida bar on 2 occasions. One of them was associated with this case. Also, then the police captain at the time, Patty Phelps, she is no longer in law enforcement, and one of the detectives on the case, Danielle Malone, she is no longer in law enforcement. She has been now transferred over to the call centre. So it's almost like the Karen Reid trial, but in reverse. So the punishment has been served, and now he's still having to fight for his innocence, which is absolutely ludicrous in my opinion. But yes, hopefully the first trial was his practice run, and the second trial will blow it out of the ballpark. So let's get straight into it and watch this cross-examination.
Tucker, would you care to move the podium a little bit?
And actually, if you want to leave that up there, that's just fine. I planned on pulling those exhibits anyway, unless you want.
All right, so
Maybe we can go back
they're
here.
going to be used, then we might just as well keep them.
That's what I
Thanks for letting me know, Christine.
Where they're at.
Okay, thank you.
I would have gone on not knowing.
Excuse me?
Lovely lime green down in Florida Keys, Monroe County. Might boost that volume. Okay. Let me know if you can hear it properly.
Mr. Johnson, let's go.
Can you hear me better now?
Where Mr. Mansfield started, okay? Now, you gave us a little bit of your history prior to that. You said you were in the military.
Yes.
Right, and again, where was that? Where did you serve?
Serving Coast.
Now, he starts off really, really strong here, and I would have elaborated a little bit further on the topic, but yes, starts off really, really strong.
In Afghanistan.
Okay, Kosovo and Afghanistan. Do you ever kill anybody?
Right there.
I have done my job.
That's not what I asked.
I have done my job.
Have you ever killed
I was an
anybody?
infantry soldier. Yes, correct.
I'm just-
Badgering the
I
witness.
will overrule the objection.
Now this this lovely person here is the prosecutor, Joe Mansfield. Not a nice person. Not a nice, and will object at any possible chance he can get, just to throw him off. Does not like Tyrone at all. No love lost there at all.
You need
Yes,
to
I
give it
have.
to,
Yes, you have. Okay, great. Now, you also testified that you had PTSD. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
And when was that first diagnosed?
In 2009.
2009. Okay. And did you get any treatment for that?
I have.
Okay. And what was the treatment?
I have had multiple issues of treatment through one program in Bonham, Texas, at the Sam Rayburn VA. It was a total inpatient program for roughly 10 months. Came out of that one, went back into another program in 2015, which was in Miami, which was also an intensive inpatient program out of the Miami VA.
So 2009, 2000 to what? Almost 2010.
2009, 2010, yes, would be my first initial treatment. And then the second intensive inpatient PTSD treatment was in Miami, at the Miami VA in 2015.
And how long did that last?
For approximately 11 weeks.
11 weeks. So,
I'm sorry, was that weeks or months?
Weeks.
Okay.
Weeks.
and is that the only time you've sought treatment for it?
No.
Okay. Any other ones that were long term?
Those were the longest term, but I have maintained a continuous outpatient treatment with the Dallas VA before I transferred to Miami.
Okay.
But the last treatment I received was in October of 2015.
Okay, back to the military. What was your MOS?
11 Bravo.
11 Bravo. Okay, so you're
Infantry soldier.
Infantry. Yep. Okay, and you said you had a methamphetamine problem at one point. And how long ago was that?
Years. Probably from the time I was 15, off and on, most of my life.
Okay, so time you were 15, and I'm assuming you don't have a methamphetamine problem now.
No, sir.
Okay, but you did it back in 2017. Is that correct?
No, I didn't. I was clean actually in 2017 from
Clean.
methamphetamines,
Okay.
yes.
And you said you first came down here with Crystal Barrett. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that she got you a job. Is that correct?
No, we were going to partner into a franchise, not so much get me a job as it was going to be a partnership through this Snuba franchise that was, quite new at the time. Something of interest to both of us.
Okay. And what did it do? I'm not exactly sure what it is.
It was a combination of snorkeling and scuba at the same time, where tourists, people that were not certified, could come in and dive on a tank with a hose and regulator, but wouldn't have to be certified because you didn't go any deeper than 20 feet. And anything after 20 feet, I guess you would have to be certified. So this franchise allowed people to come on vacation, experience snorkeling and scuba diving without having to go through all the certifications to do this. So it seemed pretty appealing at the time.
Did you put your money into it?
No, I was never able to get to that point.
Okay. And about how far did you get?
About a week and a half into my journey into Key West before it fell apart.
Okay, gotcha. And that's when you ended up on the streets?
Yes.
Okay, and at the beach?
Yes.
Okay, and that's where you met David Gross?
Yes.
Did you have any other jobs while you were down here?
Yes.
At that time?
No. At this time, no.
Okay. And how long was that, would you say, that you were jobless and homeless down here?
A month.
Month?
Yes, 30 days.
And is that when you went back up to Detroit?
No.
Okay, what'd you do after that?
While I was in the interim from coming here from Dallas, the Snuba, and living on the beach, I had placed an ad on Facebook for a handyman work, and I received a call from the Pier House. And this was probably a week after I had removed myself from the homeless situation, had acquired residential security in Marathon, and started working at the Treehouse, which would put me at about end of September 2017 or 2016, excuse me.
Okay, the end of September 2016, and you're working at the Treehouse.
Yes,
How long did that last?
until I left in June of 2017.
Okay, June of 2017. So you left in June of 2017?
I went to Detroit with Shayla.
Okay. And you went back to Detroit, right? And that's where you're from. You were
No.
from before.
I'm not from Detroit.
Okay.
I'm from Dallas, Texas.
I mean, did you ever live in Detroit before?
No, never been there before.
Oh, so this was all new.
Yes,
I gotcha. Never been there before. And you had met David Gross on the beach, right?
yes.
Let's see. Okay. September 2016. Okay. Now, when again, the summer of 2017, June, you said is when you came down here, right? How'd you get here? Who'd you come with? Anything?
In 2017,
Mhm.
that was when me and my fiance had departed our residence, which was in Bay Point, mile marker 15. I was living at 19
Hello,
19A.
Miss
Circle
Moderator of the
Drive,
Century.
which is right behind Baby's Coffee.
Welcome.
We had terminated our lease and moved to Detroit to settle her home. She had owned her own home since she was about 22, and she wanted to put it on the market, sell it, and we were going to get married and permanently stay in Key West.
And
That's not the
again,
question that he
I
asked
think I
you,
may have
Mr.
confused
Mr.
you a little
Johnson.
bit. I was talking about when you came from Michigan to come down here. How'd that come about?
But like I said, when I left here and went to Michigan with her,
Mhm.
our intentions were to stay there for the summer, fix her house, put it on the market, return to Key West for season,
Okay.
which basically was the end of summer,
You deserve a
Fun
sleep in,
until-
sweetheart.
the next summer. Unfortunately, the hurricane hit in 2017 before we were able to financially organize and return to Key West.
Okay. So I'm clear here. Did she come with you?
No, she did not come back with me whenever
So
I
she
came
didn't
back.
come back with you. Did anybody come with you?
No, I came by myself.
Do you remember a guy named Matthew Gideon?
Who?
Matthew.
Mm.
Gideon?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
no, I
that's-
don't
I
know
think
anyone
that's how
like
you
that.
pronounce his name. I'm not exactly sure.
No,
No, I don't
no.
remember this individual.
Mm-mm.
Would you be surprised that they found his medications in your truck?
Oh, shit. Hang
No,
on.
I wouldn't, because now that you
Oh, that's
now
right.
that I think about it, Matthew Gideon was an individual that was at the apartment complex, and I think the medication they found was Zoloft.
Oh, you can remember the medication.
Did Matthew Gideon stay at the warehouse at any given point in time?
I believe he was there for a day or two in the very beginning before I had met you.
Now, let's get to that.
I hate that.
You did say that you didn't meet me until a few days before this happened, correct?
Right after I got out of jail.
Would you be surprised to learn that there's phone calls between the two of us in October?
In October?
Now, first mistake. Well, not first, but would you be surprised? No. No. You have it's just hit him with a possible impeachment. Okay. So Travis has stated that they didn't meet until 3 days prior to the incident where Tyrone apparently has phone conversations recorded back in October. Right. So have your phone exhibits and your phone records or any Celebrite material, have them lodged as evidence ready to go. Then you confirm his testimony. This is when we met the 3 days before. Is that correct? Your Honour, I'd like to present this evidence right here, dated October. That's how you get punch holes in his credibility, because he's lying through his teeth and you need to punch as many holes as you can. Open-ended questions like that, let him add in the detail that you don't want in. You just want the facts. And none of this What else does he say? Oh, correct me if I'm wrong. No correcting from the witness. Confirming what you know to be right from the witness. Never ask something you do not know the answer to. Sorry. Trial tip 101. From the bench.
Yes, probably surprised because I don't remember meeting you until after I got out of jail.
So you would say that probably didn't happen.
No, I couldn't be 100% because, like I said, I don't remember meeting you until after I got out of jail.
And now, when you went to jail, you said, but please explain that how that happened again.
How I went to jail?
Yeah.
The police department, like the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, particularly, decided they wanted to come into the apartment. They were looking for somebody, a woman named Valerie, specifically. And I just happened to be right there in front of them with a marijuana pipe in front of me and went to jail for possession of paraphernalia.
Now, I'm shaking my head because I've heard this story before somewhere. But okay, was I living in the warehouse at that point or
No.
staying at the warehouse at that point?
No.
Do you remember CJ and Michelle, some other residents at the warehouse?
Who?
CJ and Michelle?
Never met them, but I do remember the names. Yes, there was a protection order in place between David Gross and said CJ, but I never met the CJ and Michelle.
Okay, so you never met CJ and Michelle, but you knew there was a protective order
Yes,
between
there had been a
David Gross
fight. Yes, there had been a fight there previously.
and CJ.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Now, again, maybe your timeline's off. I don't know, but
I'm going to object to the commentary.
okay.
I'll sustain the objection.
No problem. I'll tell you what. Did I come to stay at the warehouse because of that?
I don't remember.
Outside of his scope of
I don't
knowledge.
remember. Okay, so now.
And
So-
also, if you notice, he repeats pretty much every answer that John Travis Johnson gives, which then amplifies the response. So the jury doesn't hear it once, they hear it twice. So in their mind, it's double.
But you wouldn't remember any calls between the two of us prior.
I don't remember.
Asked and answered.
All right, so now we're going to, let's see, we're
There's your
in
evidence,
October and November, and let's see, damage from Irma. Now, were you here for Hurricane Irma?
No, I was not here for Hurricane Irma. No.
You weren't here for Hurricane Irma.
Nope.
And so what did you, I'm trying to remember back. Okay. When did you come down at that point after Irma?
I came down, like I said, in October, end of October, which would have been right the last days of Fantasy Fest, 28th, 29th, somewhere around there.
Okay. And you didn't have a job or anything like that, right?
No, not at this point, no.
And let's see, we got, oh, here's one. You said that you had quite a bit of money,
Yes,
okay, and that it came from your military background.
from my disability check and from money that I had been saving from work I had been doing in Detroit.
And you just giving us approximate about how much we're talking about here?
I had about $2,800 in my pocket.
$2,800. And let's see. We get, yeah, okay. Okay, now, did you find it ironic that you came from Detroit and that Roy Wilson was nicknamed Detroit, and then your friend David Gross is nicknamed Detroit?
It was a bit ironic, yes.
All right. So we are, 12 minutes into cross-examination? And I think he's asked one relevant question. Come on.
And, again,
You can do it,
Michigan.
Ty.
But, okay, so
I hope he actually gets a chance to go over all of these, because I'm not sure if you're not aware of this case. He's been reincarcerated back in April and now has to prepare his defence from inside Monroe County Detention Centre, which makes it extremely difficult. So I do hope he got a chance to go over these and analyse what he could possibly improve come second time round, because this is make or break, Dylan. You need to yeah, hard job.
Okay. Now, you said you had money, and then you said you did this for $50 worth of gas money. Was that prearranged or was that
No,
afterwards?
it was afterwards.
Okay, so while you're getting ready for this, right? Supposedly Rory Wilson and I talk you into this robbery, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, again, supposedly you saw us put on dark clothes, brandishing weapons. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, again, there's no amount of money that you're expecting out of this.
No.
Okay, so my question would be, why would you do it?
I wanted to get high.
You wanted to get high. So you're willing to drive for armed robbery. You know this is going to be an armed robbery, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're willing to do it to get high.
Yes.
Okay.
The rationality of the thought process isn't very clear when you're in full addiction.
I would imagine not. How long were you in addiction?
At this point,
You're always in
Entire
addiction.
life? Have you ever sought out treatment?
yes, we just discussed that.
No, I talked about your PTSD treatment. I'm talking about drug
It's a
treatment.
combined
It's com-
diagnosis.
It's not a
combined
combined
diagnosis.
diagnosis.
Yes, I actually have 3 diagnoses.
Okay.
And the treatment that I received is continuous for all 3.
Yes, that's correct.
PTSD, bipolar disorder, and drug addiction.
Now, when I heard that, because it's been a while since I watched this trial, right there is a motive. He he wanted to get high. He knew that there was cash and drugs at the premises. There has been no evidence whatsoever ever brought out in any testimony or witness statements or anything that Ty had a drug addiction at all, especially methamphetamine. Whereas John Travis Johnson just admitted he had a methamphetamine addiction and had done from age 13. And in his direct examination, he stated that the cash that they were talking about had run out because he had bought so many drugs since he was down there, and everyone else had been he'd been sharing them with everyone else, and they hadn't been contributing. So that cash cow had run out. So you find out there is a place 2 minutes, 30 seconds up the road that has both of your needs covered, cash and meth. Seems like a good motive to me. Just saying. And also, he also admits that he's got bipolar and he's unmedicated at this time. Now that right there, if you follow that through as a line of questioning, you could perhaps put in that, his memory might have been affected, his thought processes, recollection, it's not an easy disease to control, and the drug that you take, lithium, needs to be at a therapeutic level to actually work properly. So if he's not taking it, his thought process isn't it's not optimal, basically. So I would have gone further with that, and because that then too can punch holes in his credibility about his recollection of events.
Okay, I'm not a medical or psychologist, but is there different treatments for those things, or
Yes.
you say they're combined?
With the VA, it's an encompassed area. They pay attention to the diagnosis of PTSD, of also drug addiction, of also any other side. I guess you could call them side effects of these diagnoses. And it's like a school the way that the VA sets it up. It's not just a drug addiction counseling. It's drug addiction. It's cognitive behavioral therapy. It is dialectic behavioral therapy. It is, I guess you could call it occupational behavioral therapy. There's all kinds of different areas of treatment that they address. So it's compounds
Okay.
quite extensively.
Did they ever give you any drugs for treatment?
They did.
Okay, and what would those be?
I was put on
Lithium?
lithium for a while, Zoloft as well,
Antidepressant?
Lamictal. I've been put on trazodone for sleep, Ambien, Flexeril for TMJ. The list goes on and on.
So quite a laundry list of prescription medications.
Yes.
And were you on those in 2017?
No.
Okay, no prescription medications at all.
No.
Okay. And you weren't in treatment in 2017.
No.
All right. And let's see. Okay. So. Okay. Now, you said that the time you met me, right? I wasn't working, right?
Correct.
It would surprise you to learn if I had an employment at that point.
Yes, it would surprise me.
So what did you achieve from saying that? He said, yes, it would surprise me. Where do you go from there? Do you have an employment contract with a date on it, Ty? Hard evidence. Come on.
Okay. And let's see. Okay. You said that Rory Wilson came back, I guess, from Burger King. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. And he tells you about the money, right?
He was telling you about the money.
He was telling me about the money.
Yeah, you two are the friends. I did not know you two.
But you're there.
I am there.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
And so you're listening to this entire conversation.
Yes,
Okay. How did he approach me about that?
sir.
How did he approach me? How did he tell me about the money?
It wasn't a secret. He just came out about it. We were all in the room together. He came out about it. He wasn't secretive about it. He wasn't all cloak and dagger about the information. He was quite excited that he had the information.
Yeah. Well, then, I would imagine you would have heard what he said at that point if he's not being secretive. So what did he say to me about the money?
He said that he found out that over at the Treehouse, there was a large amount of dope and some money, and he wanted to go get it.
Okay. And did he say where he got that information from?
Burger King.
Got it from Burger King. No names or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
No, there were no names.
Oh,
And what was my response when I heard this money?
You were pretty much down to do it.
Okay. Did I say anything specific?
Not that I can remember. No, not 100%.
Did I ask him how much money it was? What
No.
was going to be entailed?
I don't remember.
Okay. Nothing. Did you remember?
Nope.
Okay. But at the same time, we're not being secretive.
No.
Okay. So, and you said you never saw the Treehouse prior to that. Is that correct?
This is correct.
And now when you went around and did your circle here, right, with the truck that he just asked you about, right? When you went around, did you stop any place?
The first round?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. How about the second round besides the Treehouse?
No.
Okay. So how about the rest of that day? Did you go anyplace else?
On September 17th?
November 17th.
November 17th, earlier that day?
Hmm?
Yes.
Okay. Where'd you go?
It was probably at the beach. It's the number one place that I went to, my sanctuary.
Okay. Beach? Anyplace else?
No.
That's what you know.
No.
Okay. And would it surprise you to learn that the MCSO has in evidence a picture of you going into CVS
There
just prior to
again.
the crime?
if you've got a picture in evidence from CVS Pharmacy, which is across the road from the Treehouse at the time of the incident, where is it? Where is it? And not, are you surprised? Is this the first time you've been here, Mr. Johnson? Yes, I've never been there before. Your Honour, I'd like to introduce this as evidence with the photo. Bang. Credibility. so many holes you could punch in this. You can tell he's lying through his teeth.
No,
Wouldn't surprise you, or
I
you would
no,
be
I don't.
surprised?
I would be surprised because I do not remember that.
And see, you've got nowhere to go from there. It's
Now,
like
could you explain if
it's like saying, I don't recall. Where do you go from there? It's an end line of questioning.
that picture does exist? Could you explain why?
Objection, Judge, to the question.
Well, I'll let him finish the question, and then I'll rule on the objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. If such a picture did exist, could you explain why it would be?
No,
Sustain that.
Okay.
Sustain that objection.
If
Now,
such a
when you
picture
were-
did
Went
exist,
around the,
why bring it up then? Why bring it up? You either have it or you don't. And it wouldn't surprise me actually if it was suppressed by the state, no doubt. I don't know.
block there, or what, you said you guys were checking it out. Is that what it is?
yes,
Or that we were checking it out?
yes.
Right, okay. And, now I guess, did we see anything along the way? Did we have any discussion along the way?
Not that I remember, not that I recall. No,
And
Didn't want to plan it.
now, when did we go back to the warehouse? You said we went back and got in dark clothes and brandished the weapons, right?
yes,
Okay, when did that happen? In that, right after that circle or before that?
it was the first circle.
First circle,
Mhm.
okay?
That was the
and,
drive-by when we went to initially to show me the location of where we were going.
that was,
So we're going to drive by, show the location, but we're not going to discuss anything about what we're going to do while we're there and how long we're going to be and where you're going to park. And I don't know. No one says a thing. We sit there in silence.
I
Hmm.
was just showing you the location, or Rory
Yes.
was just showing you the location, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so that first drive-by, how much time would you say was between that first go-around and when the truck comes back?
I don't know, from the timestamps, it looked like roughly 10 minutes.
From the video?
Yes. Because the first one was in the 1900s. That would be 7 o'clock.
Okay, so
Judge, I'm going to object. There's confusion here. They're referring to two different things.
I may well confused here too, so.
Okay, if the witness is confused, then you need to say so. Other than that,
I'm not sure what two different things we're talking about here. Let me back up, just so that we can be clear. Okay, you went and did this drive-by around, right?
Yes.
And then we went back to the not the treehouse, we went back to the warehouse,
Yes.
according to you, right? Okay, and about how much time did you think passed between that first go-around and going back to the warehouse?
My ideal would be around 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even 15. I'm not real sure on times.
Okay.
As far as that goes, as far as my memory serves.
Okay, just trying to get a little timeline here.
Yes.
Okay, and
You should
on
have that
video,
pinned
do you know how many
down
minutes it is
to the second, Ty.
between the first go-around and when this truck comes back around and you park?
I didn't do the math, no.
Now, you said about 10, 15 minutes before you return,
Judge,
right?
again, I'm going to object to the mischaracterization of the video.
well,
Can we come sidebar?
yes, we can go some.
Of course, Mr. Mansfield. Skip the
You can see it in
sidebar
this boat, right?
because we can.
Let's back up a little bit. Actually, I don't know if we need to back up, but we'll go ahead.
Now, you don't want to bore the jury to tears either. So have your
Now, you
timestamp
would agree
queued up,
it's
ready
dark,
to go.
correct?
Yes.
And does this video kind of represent at least,
I know I sound like I'm picking shit out of Ty, but I'm trying to be constructively critical so that it's something that we can learn from more than anything. So don't take offense.
the visual as far as
Just
being able
my
to see
opinion.
dark outside?
Yes.
little bit more light just because we're seeing the marina here. Right?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Let's see. Oh, that's playing. Okay. Give me. Let's see. Go around. I'm just going to try and skip forward to when your truck gets here. Okay. There we go. Got one coming in. Now you said when you went around that first time, right, that there was a black car that's sitting there,
Yes.
right? And where was it sitting?
Looking this direction, it would have been sitting right by the gate.
Right by the gate. Okay, so the gate, if you could show me on this video, it's over this way, correct?
It is this area right up here.
Okay, that would explain why we can't see it, right? Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
Now, when you testified a little bit earlier, did you say that you dropped Rory and Wilson and I off at the gate?
No, you got out of my vehicle a little ways
The way it's
forward of the gate. Yes.
Okay, and about how far is the stop sign here? I don't know.
The stop sign, from what my memory serves, is almost like right here. You would maybe another 25 meters.
25 meters. Okay, so not very far.
Not very far.
Okay. And I still haven't seen your truck come up. Let's see what we can do here.
Timestamp 1943, Ty. 1943.
Let's see.
Come on. L.
Sure. And about how far is that gate away from where your truck is?
50 meters.
About 50 meters.
Didn't you just say 25? L.
Got this truck. I think it's 1933 or something like that.
It's 1943.
1943. So
Oh.
I'm going to take your word for this and go to 43.
This is where the jury loses interest.
It's almost the end of the video. Gotcha. Go over all these materials with you.
No,
Okay. Did he go over any of the evidence in the case with you?
some of it, yes.
Um, I should have. Now, you testified that when you were up in Big Pine, when I shouldn't say the cops, when the officers came to, see you up in Big Pine with your truck, right? Now, you had emptied your truck out into the house already?
Yes.
Okay.
Just remember
And
that.
they came,
He said there that he had emptied his truck out already up at Big Pine. So he was moving from the warehouse where he was living with Tyrone and Rory. And he has already emptied his truck out up at Big Pine where he's moving to. Now, he states later that, well, it's also been testified to that the backpack that was Paula Belmont's, one of the victims, was found at this residence, hidden in an air conditioning cupboard where Rory was staying. Now, where John was staying, it was moving to. Now, he states later on in this testimony that he had only ever been there once, and that was the day that he moved from the warehouse to the Big Pine residence. So already he's just said there that he'd been up there to take some of his stuff up. So there's another contradiction right there. Thanks, Becca, for your subscription. Welcome to the family.
came under the guise of,
My stolen property and the vehicle damage report that I filed.
did Detective Pritchers, I would imagine, because if I remember correctly from my knowledge, did what? Oh, I did see that. Thank you. Anyway, let me back it up a little bit.
About
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
About 20 seconds. think it's that much.
Good morning,
Let's go
good
like that a little
morning.
bit. There we go.
I'll be 2 minutes.
I think that's about it. Got it? Should be right here. There we go. Boom. Got the motorcycle and then the truck, right? I'm assuming that's a motorcycle. Keep going. Well, apparently 1943 is not our number. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that is your truck, right?
Correct.
Okay. And again, we can't see anybody. We've all been through that. Nobody in the truck, right? We can't see anybody.
Correct.
Okay. Now, this is more towards the point. Let's go here. Okay. And this is when you park, right?
Correct.
Okay. So we're assuming that you parked right here, right?
Right out of view.
Okay. And let's see. Now, are your headlights still on?
I don't recall. I don't remember.
Okay. Wow.
You wouldn't
Just-
see them anyways because the direction they're pointed.
Okay. So when Mr. Mansfield had you point out headlights on the boat, where were you pointing at?
I was pointing at the glare on the front of the boat.
This one right here?
Yes.
Okay, this right here.
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a look at this. Okay, let's go forward. Does anybody have a time stamp for the next one? No. Let's go ahead and we'll maybe move it forward a little bit here. That glare is still there, right? It's glare right here, right? That's the headlights, right?
It's it looks like a glare, a light glare.
Okay. Well,
I don't know if I could specifically say they're headlights, but it does look like a light glare.
Well, Mr. Mansfield believed they were headlights.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Good. Let's see, let's get closer here. Oh, I think we might be getting there. Now, you said when you went back around, though, you came around the first time, and then the second time, though, the black sedan or black car was gone.
Correct.
Okay. Getting close. It's towards the end.
My
The glare's still
apologies.
there, correct?
Had a wayward cat.
Just check.
It's 11 p.m. over here, and it is absolutely freezing.
Let's see if we can pick up that one. There we go. There, okay, hold on. I just stopped it and paused it. I know it's got to be hard for the jury to see, but again, Todd O'Quinn with the flashlight. You guys can.
Objection.
But is that
Sustain that.
Is that
That's
the same?
testimonial. Please disregard that.
Shut up, Mansfield.
Jurors, if we have a question, we can certainly go with that.
Travis? Is that what you identified as Todd O'Quinn running with the flashlight?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's Todd O'Quinn running up the hill. Now, this is when you said, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, don't correct me if I'm
that
wrong.
You got spooked and took off, right?
Yes. In process of taking off.
In the
Yes.
process of taking off. And in the process of taking off, you said you looked back, saw me with the backpack, and
Yes.
I'm stumbling, grabbing things, right?
Nice. Correct.
Okay. So you're taking off while you're doing that.
Yes.
Now, okay, so let's keep playing here.
No, neither do I, Christine. Neither do I.
So he runs up the hill. Now, it's a pretty long time right there, right? He just ran
I
up the
get-
hill.
I get the point that Ty is trying to make here. I just don't think he does it clearly enough. What he's trying to do is saying that Travis got spooked by Todd O'Quinn appearing with the flashlight. But it took him quite some time before he actually took off with the vehicle. Now, in the direct testimony, they showed the vehicle pulling up and stopping with the headlights just past the front nose of that boat that's right in front of Ty's hand there now. And in this cross-examination, Travis decides that those lights are not the lights from his truck now and denies it. So, yeah, it's obvious that he's lying through his teeth, but I don't think he quite got the point across.
He's over
as
here by CVS.
well as
If that
possible.
is what we're still saying is Tato Quinn,
Yes.
correct? Okay. Now, the glare that,
If you're spooked by someone, especially if this is a high anxiety situation, you know, he knows that it's an armed robbery, and he's supposedly the getaway driver. So he suffers from chronic PTSD with like months and months and months of inpatient treatment. He's off his medications. So if he's going to get spooked, it would be instantaneous. Oh, crap. Foot to the floor, gone, out of there. Not wait 5 minutes. Oh, best I go.
Mr. Mansfield said was headlights. Is that still there on the boat?
It is.
Okay. Now, there's not much left to this video. Glare still there?
Yes.
Okay, and I think this is the end of the video, or at least for this video. Okay, now, it went all the way to the end of the video. Did that glare ever move?
No.
Okay.
No.
So if that was indeed your headlights, that means the truck never moved.
I'm confused. What do you?
Well,
Getting
if Mr. Mansfield is correct, and that is headlights that's in the glare there, right? And the glare doesn't move, you would have to assume that the truck doesn't move.
They would.
Did you time it on the video, Ty? From the time that you saw the flashlight to the time that the truck moves away. I would have timed that. And the other thing too, John Travis Johnson states here that he parked at this particular spot, which was 25 meters apparently from the gate of the treehouse. And then once allegedly Ty and Rory depart the vehicle, he then edges forward another 25 meters right to the corner near the stop sign. Now, on that video, that vehicle doesn't move. Not until it's gone. Not until it takes off. It doesn't move. You can actually see it parked the very back of the truck and the lights still there on that video.
The glare was facing the wrong direction for it to be my truck anyways. My headlights were facing the other direction. The glare is coming in from it looked like a reflection off of something. I don't know. I know that my truck was headed the other direction.
Truck was headed the other direction.
Yes,
So wait a
the
second.
truck was headed the other direction. What are you talking about? And it's a good lazy day for you guys over there. It's a public holiday, isn't it? Don't you have a day off today? Yes, I've put a little question in the chat. I've pinned it to the top because when I was watching this, it was frustrating me, and I had so many questions that I wanted to ask. You know, so I've put in there what if you had one question to ask John Travis Johnson in this cross-examination, what would it be? So check it out on the top of the poll, on top of the chat, and see what you can come up with.
Second.
That way.
Okay,
With a reference to the frame,
hold on.
the way the vehicle comes through.
Let me back it up for just a second so that I can get a clear picture here too, because I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. Let's go back a little bit. And we don't need to see, you know, all we need, I just want directions here. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Really?
okay, we all.
Did the
agree
Jaeger
that
mask
This is a truck going this way.
ever turn up?
Right? A truck going this way. Where were you facing that was different than that way?
I wasn't.
Okay, so I'm
My
confused
truck has
here.
never changed orientations. My truck came through the frame from the left to the right, never changed orientations and can you continue out of the frame to the right? Because the street where the stop sign is
There
Second
you go.
Avenue.
There's a
It
question.
turns right, goes right directly to the warehouse.
Okay. And so your truck is facing this direction, right?
Correct?
Okay. And Mr. Mansfield said he thinks this glare here is your headlights, and you agreed with him. Is that correct?
It could have possibly been. I agree because
Oh,
of the possibility.
possibly
At the time
been.
looked like it could have been my reflection in my head.
So full of shit.
Okay. But you would agree if that is your headlights, that the trucks did not move.
Your question doesn't make any sense, bro. This
does.
is a situation where my truck goes through, the headlights look like they're reflected off the boat. The boat obviously has a reflection from another light source, not my truck. So we can eliminate the fact that those lights on that boat are not my headlights.
No, we can't.
Okay. He did ask the question, do you think those are your headlights? It's
Are you a reflection expert? No.
possible they could have been a reflection, but are they? No, they're not. My
Okay,
truck is heading the other
So
direction.
you're disagreeing with Mr. Mansfield now.
Don't let him go on. Shut him up.
Objection now, asked and answered. We spent 5 minutes on what Mr. Mansfield says.
Okay, we'll just
Yes.
overrule the objection,
Yes.
have the final question on this area, and
Take
That'll take
control.
so
Okay.
if you want to repeat it, go ahead and repeat.
Thank you. Again, Travis, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. You agreed with Mr. Mansfield initially that this reflection could be your headlights.
Correct.
Okay. Now we are saying you disagree, correct?
Correct.
And where do you go from there?
Okay.
So, Mr. Tucker, is that basically your inquiries? on
That
this?
was my inquiry for now, Your Honor. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
on
all I
this-
need for that video.
I'm just saying, it seems it's a good time to break
That's-
for lunch.
I would agree, Your Honor.
That's an easy
Okay.
answer there,
Okay.
Christine. A, get out of jail. Only time served. There's a good one right there. Okay.
So, thank you for your patience and attention during our morning session. Members of the jury, it's time for lunch.
Right.
The usual
And-
instructions apply. Let's say 1:25.
This judge takes so many breaks and wastes so much time in this trial. It's ridiculous. The lime green didn't do it for you. It's shocking, isn't it? Shocking. But I went with theme on the thumbnail. I love R.A. He's awesome. He's the main reason that I started this channel.
Okay, please be seated, everyone.
I think I actually remember that because I wasn't
Good
streaming
afternoon.
with this trial.
Good afternoon, Judge.
I watched it and followed it with RA, but wasn't streaming then.
Deputy Riccio getting the jurors.
All right. Let's go forward a bit more.
All right. Where we left off, which was the cross-examination of Mr. Johnson, who's on the witness stand, remaining under oath. So, Mr. Tucker, you can
Key
proceed.
lime. Do you know what the rules are? If you're going through the, if you found that you want to impeach the witness on the stand and you want to go through that impeachment material with the defense, with the prosecution and the judge, normally the witness that is being impeached has to leave the courtroom. Is that normal courtroom procedure? Because otherwise they're given a heads up, aren't they? So just watch this testimony, the proceedings, and you'll know what I mean when we get there. Is that a yes? They
Where we
must
left
leave
off was the video, so.
the courtroom.
Back
Do
to
not
the
pass go. Do
truck
not
for
collect
just a
$200.
When you drove to the Treehouse that night, what route did you take?
Straight up Second Avenue.
right up second, right? Now, would that be the same street in the Florida Keys Electric video?
No.
That's not the same street.
No.
Okay. Now, you said that was you in the video, though, right? In the Florida Keys Electric video. But when
Yeah, I
you
wasn't
walked up there
100%
to go
sure,
get
but I'll-
cigarettes,
Yes,
you walked back with Rory Wilson, correct?
correct.
Okay.
I
What was
think
Rory
that-
wearing at that point?
They're not supposed to be
Same
there
clothes he was
from
wearing when we
what
left,
I've seen.
black shorts and a black top. long sleeve
Black
shirt.
shorts, black top. Not to be gruesome, but did he have any blood on him?
This was this is actually impeachment material that he uncovers as he's as Travis Johnson is testifying. So he wants to make sure that the material that the answers that John has given don't match the evidence that he has in prior testimony and statements. And I think he wants to go through that with the judge and the prosecution before he recommences questioning and impeaching the witness. So I think that's what the process is at the moment. So some of the answers don't corroborate what Ty's got as fact, basically, is my understanding. But it'll get there. You'll see what I mean. Oh, my mouse is going spastic.
And according again to your story, I returned to the house prior to that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did I have any blood on me?
No, sir.
No, it's not. It's Ty's got the previous statements and interviews from John Travis Johnson, and some of the answers that he's just given under cross-examination do not match that previous evidence. And I think Ty's trying to double check to see whether or not he can use this testimony to impeach the witness when he comes back from lunch. I think that was. Does that make sense?
And let's see. Now, you testified that you turned around while you were driving away and saw me running down the street collecting things. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And again, it wasn't
Hello.
easy to see. I mean, again, is it dark out?
It was dark, yes.
It's dark. Okay. And you're trying to drive while you're looking around, right? Because you got scared, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how long would you say you looked back?
Maybe 5 seconds.
5
maybe
seconds?
3. This is
Something like that? Okay.
maybe a second and a half. I don't know. My perception of time is not perfect.
Would you agree it's hard to drive when you're looking backwards?
No,
Really? You got eyes in the back of your head, have you?
considering I was making a right turn. My angle of view.
See, this is the
right
bit
turn,
you don't want him to
so
get in.
peripherals, I was very aware of what my surroundings were.
Very aware of your surroundings.
Yes.
Don't repeat it.
So you looked back when you went to make the turn, not when you first took off.
That's where I was at the turn. When my truck was stopped at the stop sign, it was an immediate right turn. There was no much forward, no further than maybe the length of my vehicle to make the right turn.
That's where the stop sign is.
Correct.
Right? I think you said about 25 meters.
50 meters from the gate.
Oh,
50
really?
meters from the gate, but I mean from the corner, I think you said about 25.
Okay, according to what question?
The
This
one
is
that
when I
you
asked
answered
you
10
how far
minutes
you
ago.
were away from the corner. Remember
When I
You
dropped you
showed us
guys
up here.
off, I was about 25 meters from the gate. And
Mhm.
I pulled forward after you guys exited my truck and stopped at the stop sign,
Hold on,
right
hold
off on the side of the road.
1 second. And didn't need all that. I just want to clarify.
Judge, you know the commentary, Judge, you asked the question, the witness was answering it.
Okay, we'll sustain the objection.
I was asking a very specific question. And okay, you just told me a second ago that it was 50 meters to the gate. Now, I just asked you about the 25 meters to the corner. You just said 25 meters to the gate, which is,
From the initial point of drop off of my truck
Okay.
Where I stopped
Mhm.
and let you guys out
Mhm.
was approximately 25 meters.
To the
When
gate
y'all
or
got
the-
out of my truck,
to the gate
I
or the
pulled
corner?
forward another approximately 25 meters to the stop sign. So between the gate and the end of the street is about 50 meters.
Okay.
From my peripherals,
I would
my
have gone
point of
and
view,
measured that out
my
myself.
range estimation and my memory is approximately 50 meters.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
pulled up
Yes.
after,
Yes,
after we supposedly
absolutely.
got out.
Yes.
And let's see. Now, when you said you saw Rory when you're walking with him back from Tom Thumb or the
Yes.
Treehouse area, right? Now, just to clarify, is the Tom Thumb right before you get to the Treehouse?
It is at the intersection of 2nd Avenue and I don't believe I know the name of the cross street, but it's right there in front of the firehouse.
Right in front of what?
The firehouse.
Oh, the firehouse. Okay, so, just to keep the order correct here, it is Tom Thumb, the firehouse, then the Treehouse.
Yes.
And it's not very far, correct?
No.
So hang on a second. I'm just trying to put it in perspective here as far as where the warehouse would be in that. So Tom Thumb, Treehouse, then the warehouse, or is the warehouse on the way between Tom Thumb's and the Treehouse? Because that's important. My mouse is moving because my cat's on my mouse pad. If John takes off and leaves them there and they run, as you would think, back to the warehouse, which direction in that video would it be to get back to the warehouse? Because the Florida Keys video shows them walking back from Tom Thumb's, very casually, like nothing's ever happened, No, this hasn't been a stressful, anxiety-inducing PTSD event for me. I'm just strolling up here to get some smokes. It does not make any sense to me. Yeah.
Okay. And let's see.
Tries to sleep on my hand.
Now, you said
On the
when,
mouse.
you saw Rory Wilson, no conversation between you and him about what had happened.
I asked him what happened.
Okay, and what did he say?
Don't worry about it.
Just don't worry about it. That's all he said.
Yes.
Okay. And did he
You're
say
telling
if
me
he
you
would've got
didn't want to
back?
know.
About the situation? No.
So just no more conversation about it for the
No.
rest of the evening?
No.
Okay.
You know that. We didn't talk about it at all.
Not the
Goodness.
point I was making.
Okay. So, and let's see. Now, you said that Rory Wilson pulled out a tin that supposedly had crack. Is that correct?
Well, it wasn't a tin per se metal, but it looked like a snuff can. Yes.
Like a snuff can. Okay.
Yes.
Like a
A
Copenhagen.
round container that had a lid on it.
Like Copenhagen or something like
Sure.
that, right? Okay.
Snuff.
Snuff. Okay. Okay. And let's see. Now, you said that, again, when we supposedly went in there and changed clothes and came out armed, that Rory Wilson had the mask that was shown to you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that supposedly I had a neck gaiter, right?
Correct.
And you described that in very specific terms, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And if I remember right, you said it had Jägermeister. Was it just one big word? Or was it
Jägermeister.
a bunch
A
of,
bunch of little words. Yeah. it's
Closed
repeatedly
captions.
all over the whole thing.
and let's see. Now, again, just again, for clarification purposes, you said that I was the one who had the money, correct?
That you had the money?
That I had the money in my pocket?
No.
Oh, it was Rory Wilson who had
Yes.
the money in his pocket.
And
Okay.
10.
And the 10. So he had the money and the 10.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, now let's move on to the next stages for a second. You said you went to the beach the next stage. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and how long were you there?
Most of the day.
Most of the day. Okay. And now, I think you testified that you were freaked out or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why you
okay.
went to the beach.
So he's gone to the beach to chill out the next day because he's so freaked out about this event, but he doesn't know anything about it. Why would you be freaked out? We didn't talk about it afterwards. We didn't discuss it. No? Why would you be freaked out? What are you talking about, Travis?
Yes.
Now, and let me make sure I've got my dates here correct. But you didn't start moving until the 19th, is that correct?
The 19th. I know it was the day of the raid. Whatever day that was, if it's the 19th, then that was the day, or if it was the 20th, that was the day. I'm not exactly sure when the raid occurred, but that was the day that I started getting my shit out of there. Yes.
Okay. You started getting,
My belongings, my personal effects. Yes.
okay, and is that when I supposedly helped you move your trunk?
Correct.
Okay, so that would be either the 19th or the 20th, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now,
Not
would you be
that it
surprised if I
surprised
told
you.
the raid happened
No.
on the 22nd? It's my
Again,
first
I
22nd.
told you it was the day of the raid. I don't remember exactly what day it happened on.
Okay.
Now shut him
So
down.
you were freaked out
him down.
on the 18th, but you chose to leave on the 21st.
22nd.
Yes.
21st, 22nd.
When I actually had the ability to leave.
Okay. But I helped you
Because I didn't
pack on the
have any-
19th, correct?
The days are fuzzy, Mr. Tucker.
The
I
days
know that it
are
was the
fuzzy,
day
Mr.
of the
Tucker.
raid. If this was the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, or the 22nd, I
Shut
know
him
that was
down.
the day that I
Shut him down.
decided to leave.
Well, I guess what my question is if you were freaked out on the 18th, why would you wait until the 22nd, 21st?
Didn't have
22nd?
anywhere to go.
Okay. And now, you also testified that when you got up to Big Pine and you discovered this backpack in your foot locker, right? That you chucked it into a closet, correct?
Yes.
And you just opened up the closet, throw it in.
Well, why didn't you turn it over? If you're innocent, turn it over.
I just opened the closet and put it down and said, yeah, threw it inside.
Okay.
It's not a big closet.
Okay.
Oh.
Is there anything else in the closet?
Yes, an air conditioner.
Okay. Good. Now, would you be surprised to learn
No.
that former Detective Malone already testified?
Now, did you try and conceal it, Mr. Johnson? No, I just threw it in there. And then go back over Danielle Malone's testimony and quote how well it was concealed.
That it was underneath of the AC vent. Looked like it was placed under there on purpose.
Objection, Judge, that's a mischaracterization of the evidence.
Well, let's hear the full question because
Then there wouldn't be an
now
objection.
that we were at the end.
Did you not just chuck it in there? Did you actually shove it up underneath the vent?
There's about 2.5 feet in between the bottom of the air conditioning unit and the bottom concrete of the slab of the house. That's plenty of room for me to toss it in there and toss it under it, Mr. Tucker. There was no,
Shut him down.
I
Shut him
guess you
down.
could say hiding, but yes, removal from my presence.
I'm not very familiar, but again, would you be surprised to say, if I told you Danielle Malone testified that it was only about this high?
Judge, I'm going to object to
Yeah,
that.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, now,
You're being
we-
too nice, Ty.
when I supposedly got back to the treehouse, what happened? I supposedly got back, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I mean, obviously, I would have had to have gotten back somehow
Yes.
if you left me there,
Yes.
right? Okay. Are you aware of how many video cameras there are around the warehouse?
Not even,
Well, there's a lot because I dropped a pin and had a look. There is at least 3 right out the front on CVS Pharmacy. There's one right out the front on Florida Yamaha, and there is 2 other cameras out the front of Cosmo's Marine, because the footage we're seeing is camera 3 from the rear of Cosmo's Marine, which shows absolutely jack shit, obscures all the views, and you can only see a shadow of 2 people. Why is that? Why? Would those 2 people have been seen on another video and identified as not Tyrone Tucker, perhaps? I wonder.
Even a clue.
All right, now, you also testified that when the police showed up, you had a discussion with Penny Phelps.
Yes.
And you were out there on the patio or the porch or whatever with Scott, right?
Yes. I was actually pushing a toolbox into the center of my truck after I had gone through it looking for a pair of pliers.
Oh, you were looking for a pair of pliers, okay. And what did Penny Phelps have to, did she ask you anything? Did she say anything to you?
Yes, she was concerned about what I had maybe witnessed in that portion of the area. If I'd seen anybody run by and
Didn't mention that, his vehicle matched the description of the vehicle that was seen in the event. No?
our clothes, African American in color. And, I asked her what it was in reference to, and she said that there was a fight up the street at CVS.
There was a fight up the street at CVS.
Yes.
And, but you didn't tell her anything, did you?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing to tell her.
And now, if I remember correctly, after your truck got keyed and you were robbed, apparently, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, did you change the locks on the door
At the
warehouse?
I did.
Okay. And were you the only one with the key?
No.
Okay. Who else had a key?
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson had a key,
He did.
but I didn't have a key.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Now, back to when I supposedly got back. Did I meet you upstairs or did I meet you downstairs? Did I meet you outside the building?
Upstairs.
Upstairs. Okay, how did I get in?
You have feet. You walked.
Just
The door
testify.
wasn't locked.
Okay, door wasn't
Door
locked.
locked,
No.
but you're scared. Paranoid.
Now, were you scared at all when again you just gotten done taking off? You said you were scared there. Were you still scared when you were upstairs?
I was a little nervous. Yes.
But you didn't lock the door.
No.
Hi, Louise. Welcome. Are you talking about Tyler Dursey? Is it Dursey? The witchcraft Tyler? Because no, that hasn't come back yet. Not that I've seen anyway. No. If that answers your question. If it doesn't, put another question in chat and I'll see if I can help you. But welcome.
Now, okay, so you testified you were scared. You get there, you're still scared. When you go, okay, when do you decide to go for cigarettes?
This is Tyrone or Franklin Tyrone Tucker. So he's currently, this is the first trial that happened in January. We're just recapping it because he was up for retrial come this September the 9th, but it's been continued indefinitely at the moment until we have a status hearing on the 15th of October. So he's up for retrial again because it was a mistrial in January. So that's why we're just recapping the first trial to refresh our memories so that we're good to go come second trial. And he is defending himself again.
Minutes after you showed up.
After I showed up, okay. Okay. And now, okay, so I show up, according to you, and you go get cigarettes. Now, are you scared at that point?
I mean, now, I'm trying to understand your
So I'm
explanation of fear, of scared. I've been in numerous stressful situations, and yes,
Happened what between this the last trial and this trial, because there's been a lot that's happened since then. He's actually reincarcerated. He's back in Monroe County Detention Centre at the moment. He was rearrested in April of this year for a minor bond violation, and was arrested and the judge slapped a $3.1 million bond on him for missing or being late to a urine screen, which he actually did eventually attend and pass. But as soon as that was, they were notified that he was late, they revoked his bond and ordered a bench warrant and arrested him. Yeah. There's a whole playlist linked in the description of this video if you want to have a look, Louise, and it's got a whole heap of all the updates. And there's also, if you wanted to check out Justice is a Process as well, there we go. There's his link. It's in chat further up the top. He has a heap of stuff as well. So feel free to have a squeeze.
Was nervous, but a level of fear that I think you're trying to achieve.
Yes, he is.
Agreeing with is not.
Yes, he is.
What you would call fear in the sense of, oh no, what am I going to do? No, it was more or less, this situation is not of my liking anymore. I do not trust you or Tucker or Wilson anymore, and yeah, I want to be away from the scenario as quickly as possible. That's my level of fear.
Mr. Johnson, I wasn't looking for anything specific. I was just asking.
It's all right. We'll overrule it.
Okay. Okay. So you just said that you apparently can handle fear. Is that correct?
Yes.
In
Objection
situations.
has been answered.
I didn't ask it yet.
Overrule the objection.
Thank you. So you've been in situations where you can handle fear, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you have the ability to remain calm during these kind of situations.
How do you
I don't
remain
know
calm
about
with
calm, but I
PTSD and
know
off your
how to
meds?
Function somewhat under stress. Yes.
Function somewhat under stress. Okay, cool. Now, is that from your military experience?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, can I ask
Hello,
you
Billy Ray.
again, did you go back to the beach on the 19th?
I went back to the beach several times.
Several times between the night it happened and the night when you left
When I left the apartment, it was during the day.
during
Yeah,
the
when
day.
I left permanently, when I went to Big Pine, it was during the day.
During the day. Okay. And you did say you had a conversation with April Walker, correct?
Yes.
Now, did you see me that morning?
You were upstairs. Yes.
Okay. I was upstairs.
Yes.
Did I have a conversation with April Walker that you know of?
You may have, but I didn't hear it. I didn't see it.
That's all I was asking you. What?
Yes, I didn't hear it or see it. No.
I got you. But you did have one with her prior to you leaving. And what was that about again?
Where Rory Wilson was and where I was going.
Okay.
Where I was going. So makes it sound like he hasn't been there. But didn't he say before that he had? Hmm.
Now, you weren't there for the so-called raid, right?
No,
And where were you at the time?
I was at the beach.
At the beach. Okay. So back at the beach. Okay. And when did you get there approximately? I mean, did you get there while they were still conducting this raid, or did you get there after it was over?
I got there after it was over.
After it was over?
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't talk to anybody at the raid or any of the police?
No, that night, like, I want to say late at night before the sun came up after the raid. Miss Phelps and Detective Fernandez
Pine.
and another detective came in wanting
Alas.
to look into the ceiling.
Okay, so they came back a second time.
Yes. And they got my permission to look into the ceiling.
And did they find anything?
No,
Did you have any conversations with any of the officers at that point?
yes, about my truck.
About the truck?
Yes.
At this point, you still haven't offered them any information that you were involved, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. Back to fear again for a second. Believe you testified that you didn't ask me out of fear. Is that correct? You asked me what happened.
Repeat the question.
I'm looking at the testimony that you've given, and you said you didn't ask me what happened because you were afraid.
I didn't ask you what happened, correct, because I was afraid of the answer. I was afraid of know anything.
Okay. You're afraid of the answer, but you weren't afraid of me.
Not really particularly, no.
Okay. And let's see.
Thank you, Gabby.
Okay. How
Can
many
you
times
put
did you go back and forth
Ty's
between
merch
the warehouse and
link
Big
in
Pine?
chat too, darling? Please.
And Big Pine,
Yeah, where you were moving.
once.
Just once.
When I left to go to Big Pine,
It was
the
just once.
first time and the only
See?
time that I had been to Big Pine.
First time and only time. Now, right there, he'd said before that he'd been up there already. Mr. Johnson, I'm calling bullshit.
Okay. Now, did you go up there to get the job?
I went over there after I had secured the permission to stay there and the job
Okay, and how did you secure that permission?
from Mr. Martin Ochoa,
Okay, but was it via the phone or face to face? I mean, how
face
did
to
that happen?
face.
And did he meet you someplace or?
I met him at Mangrove Mama's.
Okay, and I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember. Where's Mangrove Mama's?
Mile marker
located?
20.
Mile marker 20. And where's Big Pine?
Thank you.
Mile marker 50.
Mile marker 50.
Or in between there. I'm not correct. I'm not sure, but I know it's further away than mile marker 20.
Okay. And you said you didn't see Wilson again except for after that first night, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, chance for discussion. And did you ever look into the backpack
Enjoy, darling.
when you found
Thank
it in your foot locker?
No,
Never looked into it.
no, I didn't look into it whenever I found it. No.
Rubbish.
And you said, again, after you got to Big Pine, the police contacted you through Captain Phelps giving you a phone call. Is that
Yes.
correct? And do you remember, again, what they told you?
Yes, they wanted to conduct more of a follow-up investigation on my truck, take pictures of the vandalism, and get basically a statement from me, what I experienced.
Okay. All right. And you said they did their investigation on the truck at the same time.
Yes.
Okay. So what did that entail?
Them walking around it with body cams and taking still frame images of my truck.
So where was the backpack? Seems to me they didn't investigate very thoroughly. If he hadn't been up to Big Pine already, the backpack would be still in the vehicle. Watson,
And
I deduce.
opening the doors and looking inside of it as well.
Like I say, they opened doors, they look inside. Did they take anything?
No, there was nothing in its take.
Mm.
Let's see. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay, if my memory serves. Okay, you said that you,
No new charges. We have a change of judge. So the judge recused himself and we have a new judge, Judge Morgan. And the prosecutor is still the same prosecutor. Colleen Dunn, the district attorney, was disbarred from the Florida bar for I think it was 8 months with regards to prosecutorial misconduct in this case, with regards to a jailhouse snitch. And she has since been rehired by Key West or Monroe County, which is ridiculous. The police captain, Penny Phelps, who was one of the people in charge or put herself in charge of this investigation, is no longer in law enforcement. There's another investigator, Danielle Malone, who is no longer in law enforcement. She's now been demoted to call centre. There is so much that's happened. There is no new charges. It was just that it was declared a mistrial in January, and they are going back to court over it because the prosecution want to retry the case, basically. But there is absolutely zero physical evidence whatsoever that tie to this crime. And the man on the stand now is the main witness, who is absolutely lying out of his teeth. He got a plea deal for time served to testify against Ty. But you'll hear that further in his testimony as we keep going.
You got scared and you took off when you saw Todd O'Quinn with his
He
flashlight
was
running up
rude,
the hill.
but this
right?
one's worse.
Now, why didn't you get freaked out when he came out the first time?
What?
Todd O'Quinn came out twice.
I never encountered him but one time visually. I never met the man, never saw the man, never communicated with the man. The only thing I saw of Todd O'Quinn, didn't even know it was him until he ran across the street, flashing flashlight, screaming, "Help, help, help, police." That's what I remember of that individual.
Well, I didn't say you met him. Back to that, you encountered Todd O'Quinn?
Visually.
Okay, visually. And as we've gone to the video ad nauseum now, he comes out twice. So that
Once
one,
again, I'm going to object to these questions. Are
Well, I'm
vague or
going to
misinterpreted.
sustain the objection
Okay, I'll
because it's not
rephrase.
a question.
No, I'll
it's a
rephrase you.
commentary. So
I'll rephrase you. Travis, did you watch that video? I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, did you watch that video?
Yes.
How many times have you seen it?
How many times have I seen that video? This being the fourth time.
Fourth time. Now, I actually had to
Yep.
look this up because I didn't know.
The new judge is a protege of this judge, Mark Jones. And Mark Jones actually nominated this judge for the position. And he has a military background, so he's very regimented in everything that he does, and he aspires to live up to this judge's behavior, pretty much. Like, he holds him in high esteem. So yes, he's not doing Ty any favors whatsoever.
It means to shift back and
In
forth.
fact, the opposite.
It's a vacillation, almost like an oscillation. It's iffy, fickle, not quite sure.
Okay, so does it mean your story changed?
No,
Okay, so your story didn't change.
no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's bad. Check it out.
Let's see.
Once you go into the dive.
Now you said after you saw the Florida Keys Electric video that you got scared because you thought you were caught, correct?
Correct.
And now, did they show you that video? Yeah, I think Mr. Mansfield asked you this, but just for me, did they show you this video when you were at headquarters after they brought you in?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And what did you say when you saw the video?
At first, I was unsure if it was me or not because I didn't want to admit that it was me. And I was curious about my shoes, that they may not be the right color. But I was in grips and in shock of the fact that they had me on video. And I was vacillating between whether or not I wanted to own this and confess or hope to God that they couldn't ID me when I knew in my mind it was me.
Okay, so
That's my vacillation was, oh shit, I'm caught. Do I admit this now? Or do I process it?
He's actually done now 2.5 years in jail, including the time that he's been in now since April, for an innocent man. 1 day is 1 day too long for an innocent man.
And eventually admit it, which I did.
okay, you eventually admitted. When did you admit this?
Later in the questioning.
Later in the questioning?
Yes.
Okay. And forgive me again, the vacillating thing. So you couldn't decide whether or not you wanted to tell one story or another.
No, it's not a matter of whether I wanted to decide to tell one story or another. It was whether I wanted to decide to admit that that was me or not. That was me that was participating, that was you and Mr. Wilson getting out of my truck. All of this was me processing the fact that I am caught. And do I want to spend the rest of my life in prison for this? So I need to tell the truth.
I very much understand.
So that's what I did.
But okay, if you're not going to admit it, then what are you going to do?
Hope that the evidence clears me because it's not concise without me admitting it was me.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with the Combs video or Cosme video. What did you say when you saw that video?
No, it could be me. It might not be me. You can't see the truck. Yes, this again is vacillation. Shock that I've been on camera, recorded, knowing that's my truck.
Okay, knowing you could be implicated.
Yes.
And as you
Yep,
just
actually,
said,
I think it was
you could do a
closer to
life
5,
sentence,
Louise.
correct?
Yes, I could be charged with murder.
Yep.
Now, were you ever offered any deals prior to Mr. Mansfield?
That's why it was so ridiculous when they rearrested him, because he'd, had no issues for 5 years with any parole violations. There was one where he didn't charge up his monitor, but it was nothing. And if you've watched, judges and trials and courtrooms and stuff, they generally will bring you in and give you an admonishing for it, but not issue an immediate bench warrant and revoke your bond and post 3.1 million for being late for a UNA screening. That's it. When you've been on house arrest with no issues with probation or anything with your pretrial services prior to that, it's absolutely, a tie up.
Meeting with you.
They wanted to shut him up. Basically, he's got this YouTube channel and he was posting all of the evidence and all of the body cam footage and the interviews and everything. And they don't want any of that getting out because it proves their corruption. So the best way for them to shut him up was put him in jail.
Years ago,
Okay. Could you please tell me the circumstances behind that?
my public defenders
He-
offered me a deal of 15 years.
That is a point of contention, but in Ty's mind, if he takes the deal, he's admitting guilt and he's absolutely innocent, and it won't. It's not on his. It's not in his makeup. He can't do it, and I get that. I get that. So there is a lot of benefit to that, and he could have got on with his life, but at the end of the day, that's his conscience. He's admitting guilt, and it's not something that he could do. So fair enough.
Testify against you and Mr.
Oh
Wilson.
yes, it's as deep
Did you
as
ever
Karen
take that
Reid,
deal?
No, I did
if not
Did you
deeper.
ever testify?
I did not at that point. No.
Did you ever testify prior to Mr. Mansfield's offer?
Testimony, no. Statement, yes.
Okay.
The original statement I gave when I was arrested.
The original statement you gave when you were arrested.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever do a proffer just prior to my bond hearing?
Prior to your bond hearing? When was your bond due?
This will be January of 2019.
No, I proffered in April of 2022.
2022.
Yes.
And did you ever speak with Colleen Dunn?
Me personally, one time.
Okay. And what was the nature of that conversation?
Objection, Judge. It's hearsay.
We'll need to approach the bench here.
Mhm. Let's skip the.
It was the beginnings of a possible deal.
Possible deal. And what year was this?
I do not remember.
Okay.
Sit down, Mr.
If
Mansfield.
I remember correctly, you were
It's not your
arrested at the
turn.
end of 2017, right?
November 23rd, I was
November 23rd.
charged. Yes.
And
About midnight, actually, was the time.
okay. And then
Sit
was this
your ass
deal
down.
in 2017 or was it in 2018, 2019?
Objection, Judge, to the characterization.
Characterization of
Absolutely.
the
Very,
deal.
very bad.
We can
Okay.
restate it as terms of a conversation.
Yes, sir.
Very
Did
unfair.
this conversation, when did this conversation occur? Was it when you first got arrested or was it later?
It was about 2 years later,
About 2 years. So that would be
approximately.
about 2019, right?
I guess you could say that, yes.
Okay. And did you, let's see.
At the end of the day, he could be in prison for the rest of his life for something that he did not do. Absolutely 100% did not do. There is not. And he is, as I said, 100% factually innocent. Exactly the same as Karen Reid. No evidence in the car, no evidence in the mask, no DNA of his found anywhere. Not on the knife, nothing. Nothing. Just this testimony.
And let's see. Okay. Now, before Mr. Mansfield offered you his deal, right?
Objection, Judge.
Objecting to
What's the
what?
objection?
Can we come sidebar?
Yep.
You made the deal, Mr. Mansfield. It's public knowledge. Oh, you decided better of it. Yeah, thought so. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, like I said, I started to say, before Mr. Mansfield offered you this current deal that you have, right? You're on a deal right now, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Mr. Mansfield went over some of the terms of that deal. This deal spares you from the life sentence, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I think Mr. Mansfield said that it's dependent on your cooperation with the state, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what happens if you don't cooperate with the state?
Then the deal is null and void. It's a breach of contract.
Oh, I think that's a motive to testify against someone and point the finger? Maybe? Just putting that out there.
Okay. And what happens then?
Then the judge has the ability to re-sentence me in any way he sees fit.
Is there a specific term of years?
Yep.
I believe it was called a hammer clause, life sentence.
Life sentence.
Life sentence, time served.
So if you violate this deal, it's a life sentence.
Not a
Possibly.
big choice.
Okay. Now, did it say anything in there in that deal about being untruthful? What would happen?
If they believed I was untruthful, this would also be a breach of contract.
Now, prior to this deal, again, did you have your attorney file any kind of motions that wanted to suppress your statements?
I don't recall. I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't think there was any suppressing of my statements.
Okay.
Now, I believe that since the first trial, John Travis Johnson has since redacted his testimony here, and the state are trying to suppress his testimony coming into the second trial so that they can't use it against it. They can't bring in the recanting of his testimony. They're just dodgy.
But you wouldn't know. He would have done that without your permission?
I don't believe he would have done it without my permission, no.
Oh, no. So he did it with your permission?
I don't know if he did this or not. I'm not sure. I don't understand the process of filing motions, and I don't remember every single discussion we had at all. These were very short, brief moments that I got to speak with him.
Okay. So you don't remember this conversation with your attorney?
Objection, Judge. First of all, asked and answered. Secondly, that's not what he just testified.
The plot thickens.
Sustain the objection.
Maybe I need to be a little clear. You said that you had numerous conversations with your attorney, short, correct?
Short conversation.
Short conversations. But were you aware of what your attorney was doing for you?
Yes.
And what if I told you that, would you be surprised to learn there was a motion to suppress filed for you?
No.
Okay. And it was not, you said if your attorney did this, that you would have been aware, correct?
Yes, pretty sure I would. I spent a lot of money on my attorney to handle this so that I wouldn't have to. I
And this
gave him
is-
full reign to do what he thought necessary as a defense attorney should be. The process of filing motions, I don't understand the procedure of law, so I'm not going to say I understood exactly what he was doing, but I know he was in my best interest. That's all I can really say.
And this is Seth LeVay.
Seth LeVay.
And who was your attorney prior to that?
Kevin McCarthy, I think is his name.
Do you have a lot of discussions with Kevin?
No.
And was he a court-appointed attorney or did you
Yes.
pay him? Okay. And do you remember when you retained Mr. LeVay?
2019, I believe.
2019? Let's see. Okay, and let's see. Let me make sure we're here. Good here. Now, did you vacillate prior to, giving the current story that you have now to the investigators?
Rephrase the question.
Did you tell them a different story prior to telling them the story you have now?
I have not changed my story.
Okay. Never?
There might have been some inconsistencies. Yes, I'm pretty sure, but as far as the baseline of the story, nothing has changed.
Okay. Now, this is even when the investigators first brought you in, you told them this story.
Yes, I've been saying and maintaining my participation in this event the entire time, and the individuals involved with me.
Okay. So made no attempt to tell a different one.
No.
And okay, after you gave investigators this story, did you ever say anything different then? Did you ever give another story after this?
My story has been fairly consistent. There might be some inconsistencies, but as far as the truth goes, the truth doesn't change. Mr. Tucker, I have told the truth from the beginning.
Okay. And to be clear, did you come up with this story on your own?
my story is the way that I told it. The narrative that was recited by Officer Penny Phelps, who I'm sure you're referring to, she's a good detective. She may have done things wrong, but she figured this out. And I was caught, and I admitted to it. She had laid out the entire narrative to me, and I agreed with her because she was right.
Okay. That wasn't what I asked you.
But this is exactly
I asked
what
you,
was asked.
excuse me. I asked you, did somebody else come up with your story?
No, she did not come up with my story. She understood the case and understood the nature of what had happened and explained it very clearly what she understood, and she hit it right on the head. And I told her in my own words what she had basically just narrated to me because it was the truth.
Okay. It's true. Okay. What I was saying is, did she tell you your story before you told it to her?
Objection, Judge. Ask
No.
the answer.
I'm going to overrule the objection.
She did not tell me my story. She told me a narrative that she had come up with that was on point with my story, which I then told to her. Not verbatim for what she told me, but the truth as she had figured it out. She just needed me to clarify what she already knew. And that's what I did, Mr. Tucker. I clarified what she already knew to be truth.
Okay. So you said she gave you a narrative. What's the difference between a narrative and a story?
Semantics.
Semantics. Okay. So did you offer any parts of that story prior to her giving it to you?
I did not.
Okay. But it went along with your story.
Again, semantics, Mr. Tucker. The narrative she explained and the statement I gave are consistent with each other because they are the truth.
That may very well be. We'll see.
Objection to the commentary.
Sustained.
Mr. Johnson, you say it's semantics that, well, would you have gotten around to telling this story had Penny Phelps not given it to you?
Yes.
Objection, Judge. Improper question.
Yeah, he already answered it. I'll overrule the objection.
Okay. So you were going to tell it anyway.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you did say that you were.
All right. Now, what he's just been saying is, pussies, got them everywhere. If you go onto Ty's YouTube channel, Free Tyrone Tucker, I think I started. Nope, it's in the chat anyway. There is a video of John Travis Johnson's police interview with Penny Phelps, and the controversy there is that she used what's called the read technique as part of her interviewing. There's the channel there. As part of her interrogation technique, and it is a controversial method of interrogation. And you actually see her produce this narrative, this story of what she believes has happened, and portrays Travis as the good guy and Ty as the bad guy, as well as tells him all these things that Ty's out there telling him that he's gotten away with it, and that Travis is, taking the fall for him and making a fool out of him, and just really dissing Travis, and which is not true at all, and telling him that he was threatening his pregnant girlfriend as well. So she just told him all these lies, and then all of a sudden there's 3.5 minutes of videotape missing, and poof, he comes back and regurgitates the story that she has just narrated to him, and they go and arrest Mr. Tucker.
We're scared, correct?
It's all on
Yes.
tape.
That you were scared of a life sentence.
Yes.
Okay. Now, and then former Captain Phelps. She offers you the story. Are you scared then?
I wouldn't say scared, in shock, more or less.
In shock. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And now, when you vacillated on the videos, was this before or after Penny Phelps gave you the story?
Judge, I'm going to object to the characterization that Penny Phelps gave him a story.
Okay.
That he's clarified that's not what happened.
Okay. Gave you your narrative.
The videos were shown to me after my statement to corroborate what I had told them was truth.
Okay.
This is when they began to understand that what I was telling them was truth, because they had video evidence to verify my statements.
Okay. Now, you just testified, though, that you vacillated during those video, but you were scared that you were going to do life and vacillated, right?
I was scared I was caught, yes.
Okay. This is after you supposedly told the truth to Penny Phelps, correct?
This is all a process of all these emotions happening at one time.
Now, remember, this guy put himself in this position because, as in his own words, he wanted to get high. So he offered to do the getaway driving for $50 gas. Really? Really? You're going to put yourself in that position for $50 gas money so you can get high? Sorry, sir. Does not make sense.
Mr. Tucker, there's not a separation and identification of each emotion.
What panel do you mean, Christine?
Occurrence for me to say, oh, it was truth. Oh, I was
It's
scared.
just me
oh, I wasn't.
today. No panel.
The
don't
compounding
have
of
a
all
panel
this
this week.
and the realization of me being
They're on
in their
holidays.
office, being questioned about this murder, being shown videos after I admitted that I was a part of this to corroborate my story, after I came to grips with the fact that I had been caught. Yes, there was fear. Yes, then there was also reconciliation in my mind. I need to face the consequences of my actions.
No, you need to get out of it.
You need to face the consequences of your actions, correct?
Yes, and this is how I did this.
Yes,
Okay.
he did. His own words.
I guess where I'm having trouble here. You told the truth, is what you're saying, to Captain Phelps.
Yes,
Right. But then you vacillated later when you watched
It's
the
actually-
videos.
I did.
Earlier on in this
So-
video.
I did not know they had these videos.
Okay, but if you told her the truth, then why does it matter?
The simple fact that I didn't know they had the hard evidence right there, it was a shock to the system, Mr. Tucker. To sit there and see yourself on, oh, I don't know if that's me or not. Yes, I know it's me. But do I want to say this? This is what's going on in my mind. So vacillation happens. Then reconciliation happens. And I told the truth.
No, then an option is given to you that makes that all go away. And you decide to take the easy way. That's not called reconciliation.
Mhm. Okay, did you ever ask for a lawyer when you were there?
Not till it was all said and done.
Did you ever tell them that your PTSD was acting up while you were there?
Yes.
No. Did they
There's
stop
another good reason
questioning
to
you
wanna
after
get
you
out of
informed
jail.
them that you had PTSD?
No.
All right. Now, you mentioned Captain Phelps. Did she ever bring up my name?
Yes.
Of course you did.
Okay. And about how many times during the
I
conversation?
can't remember that exactly.
Now, is this before or after she gave you the narrative?
I can't remember that's exactly either way, when your name was referred to, when it wasn't referred to, or this time
Oh,
line of
shit.
questioning specifically referred to you in particular.
Again, you said you're pretty good at dealing with fear, because of your former occupation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you have the ability to act calm when you're afraid.
I wouldn't say act calm, There's no acting calm. There's just a level of coping that I'm somewhat able to do. I'm not as good at this anymore. Of course.
Did you want to jump on the stream with me, Christine? I'll send you the link. Hang on. I think I've got your email address. Or is it on Facebook? Hang on. Leave it with me.
Of course, I am 100% service connected. So that does mean that the government has deemed me unemployable due to the amount of stress that I do undertake in situations that makes it almost impossible for me to maintain employment. But as far as my mind and how I deal with stress internally are two different things than my work life compared to my living life. Okay. I can handle stress, but I can't handle employment stress. I can handle life stresses because that's all I have to worry about. It's when the compounding two come together that these effects in my mind start to really make me as disabled as the government says that I am. I can't hold a job down, but I still function as a human being in society. I know how to cope with stress just about as well as any other normal person.
Rubbish.
I've had a little bit more experience than most.
You've been just like every other normal person. Not every person has been in an intensive inpatient program for 8-10 months twice for your PTSD. That's not just a normal person. And you also have bipolar and you weren't medicated at all. And you have a meth addiction that you've admitted to from 13, the age of 13.
And yes, I do have the ability to handle stress.
Rubbish.
And fear.
I mean,
What?
very interesting.
What is the definition of PTSD? You're just contradicting yourself, you dickhead.
Did you learn that in your former occupation when you were a soldier?
I've learned this throughout my life.
And, but yet you freaked out and took off, right?
Yes. Okay. Do you understand the level when you say freak out? I say, oh shit, I don't want to be a part of this anymore because that's not what we plan to have happen, to have people running out screaming for help up the street.
Oh, hang on.
Yes, I panicked.
You said that's not what we planned to have happen, but you said that you didn't talk about it or plan it. There was no talking in the car. You didn't discuss it. Now you're saying you planned it.
I no longer want to be a part of this. So my choice to drive away was based upon that reaction I saw from that individual running out. I no longer wanted to have anything to do with being a getaway driver anymore.
Well, I mean, I understand that. But again, so you freaked out, even though you can handle stress.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
There's a mitigation of fear there.
Okay. And again, you know,
A super freak out would have been slamming on the gas pedal, screeching tires around the corner, and leaving the apartment completely and not being around you two gentlemen at all after this. The mitigation of fear was
not a question.
Eliminate self from point A, go to point B, reconnoiter,
okay, so
reevaluate my situation.
So go back and think about it.
What my next plan of action is. Correct.
Next plan of action, correct?
Correct.
Now, again, you testified that Rory Wilson came in and didn't have much of a discussion with me, but said that, you know, where the money is, or, you know, they heard, you know, that something about the money with the Treehouse, correct? He's the one that brought the money to the, you know, the money issue up, or going to the Treehouse.
Yes.
Okay. And to be clear again, you didn't want any compensation for driving there.
I agreed to do it for gas money.
Gas money.
Yes.
And again, you were aware it was going to be an armed robbery, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I have admitted my participation in this from the beginning, Mr. Tucker.
Mr.
Excuse me?
Tucker.
I have admitted my participation in this from the beginning. That's why I was
Don't
charged.
you get condescending, Mr. Travis.
And let's see. So, did Captain Phelps offer you any deals?
No.
And did she ever say something like, I'll take care of you, or, you know, anything like that? Any kind of
Judge,
special?
you just answered the question.
Didn't say deals.
Overrule the objection. It's a subtle difference. So.
She said I would be safe.
Safe. And safe from what?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay, so what would you have to be safe from at that point?
My understanding of her word, you'll be safe today
Mhm.
versus what it was then is a completely different understanding of what that term meant. And at that point, she meant safe in jail. She didn't mean safe for, say, from you or Mr. Tucker. But it was a politically correct way of her saying, you're going to be in jail now, you'll be safe. That's what I understand it now to have meant.
Just clarify, you said you or Mr. Tucker. Did you mean me and Mr. Wilson?
You and Mr. Wilson, correct. My apologies.
And again, we've established that you weren't afraid of me, correct?
No.
Okay.
I was afraid of you two together.
I've sent you the StreamYard link, Christine. It's in your email. Check your email. But you'll have to turn your mute off on your YouTube. You'll have to mute your YouTube.
Did you ever run into Mr. Wilson while you were in jail?
Yes. Not physically, but we were in Alpha unit at one point in time together. Yes.
Okay. Did you ever have an altercation of any sort, verbal or physical, with Mr. Wilson while you were in jail?
And there was some yelling back and forth in the cells, but nothing.
Okay, and what did you yell at him?
I didn't yell anything at him.
Oh, he was yelling just at you, though.
Yes.
And did you ever go back to solitary again, or Alpha, whatever you want to call it, in jail after you were released from Alpha?
A couple of times, yes.
Okay, and what were those
Scared the
couple
crap
times
out of me.
for?
That absolutely scared the crap out of me.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I've got my volume boosted and it just went boop in my ear. Sorry. I thought you saw my message.
No, I'm sorry. I was in the bathroom.
Ah, no worries. Welcome.
I'm still
Yeah.
worried about Ty's second trial.
Yeah. I think he'll be better though this time.
Well,
He's learned a lot.
well, hopefully they'll change the menu. I mean, the venue.
Absolutely. That would be a godsend if they change the venue.
Well,
New judge, new prosecutors, new DA.
yeah. They just, I think I think it's going to take a couple months. I think they're going to postpone it for 4 months from now of the trial.
Oh, they've said 4 months for the. Oh, my cat is on the keyboard.
I'm pretty sure they're going to do it because of the motion.
Oh, good. Well, I hope they do.
I don't know. I mean, that's why I got a person of when Steve talked to Ty, when he did the interview with him. I mean, that was my impression. But
Yeah.
I haven't talked to Ty yet. I will. I got
You're
a
going
lot
to
of
call
stuff.
him this week?
Probably this week or a couple weeks because money-wise, I have to pay my rent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Louise,
just
this is Christine Fortunato. She was in chat. She's also a YouTube creator and she's a friend of Ty's. And so that's who's on live with us now.
okay. Yeah, I want to, but right now. I'm just going a lot of stress going on with me, so with doctor's appointments,
Yep.
and I just don't want to get in trouble because I don't know if there's a gag or get a gag order on him. So I'm going to talk about the case again with me. I was going to ask him, but I don't know if there's a gag order on him.
I don't think that's been no, that hasn't been reinstated at this
Yeah,
point. But,
yeah. I'm still afraid to. I'm still afraid to do it, but I will. I'm just have to get money somehow. So I'm just trying to, pay my bills, and I'm just going through a lot of stress right now. But
yeah,
I wish I can record it, but I don't want to get in trouble because how tight like how Steve did it. I had to send him money. I can do the live stream with me and Ty together, but I have to send him money so I can put him on
mm,
to on his account so we
yeah,
can do a live stream together on my YouTube.
yeah.
I'm
Hang on,
still
let me answer a question, Louise. There was a gag order in place because they didn't want him to speak to Todd O'Quinn when the state called Todd O'Quinn back in the first trial. So they put a gag order on him so that he couldn't contact him. Now he wants to, like Todd is a witness that he wants to subpoena because Todd encountered John Travis Johnson on the way out of after the incident and identified him. So now the state want to reinstate this gag order so that Ty cannot subpoena him because that would be going against the gag order by contacting him. So that's why there's no gag order in place now. They want to reinstate it. So we'll keep watching the rest of day 4. We've got, I think, another couple of hours of testimony to go still. So, and we're already 2 hours and 12 minutes into the stream. Right. Let's go.
Judge, I'm going to object to the relevance.
Yeah, we'd have to approach.
Oh. I'll fast forward through these because we have the technology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, let's go to after Mr. Mansfield offered you the deal, what happened?
I took
After
it.
he offered me the deal, I proffered, took the deal, was
Mhm.
released from jail.
Okay, and about how long did it take you to get released from jail after you signed the deal?
About a month.
A month.
The wheels of justice turn slow.
Oh, please. Please.
All right. So you take the deal from Mr. Mansfield and you agree to testify against myself and Roy Wilson.
Correct.
And the exchange is you're on 5 years probation.
Correct.
Okay. With, if I understand correctly, I think Mr. Mansfield said it, I'm not sure, but you get early termination after appearing today, right?
Correct.
So you'll be a free man.
It's pretty motivating.
Now, I know you said your dealings with your lawyer were sporadic or whatever, or short. Did he ever show you any of the discovery in the case?
Judge, I'm going to object to the communication between him and his lawyer is protected.
And unfortunately, that's exactly what he was doing with his YouTube channel. And the only way to shut him up was to put him right back in jail, Louise. And that's what they did. The first excuse they got.
Right. I don't think, I understand that. I think showing discovery is outside that attorney-client relationship. So I'll overrule the objection as long as we don't delve into the communications. But I mean, what he may have seen about discovery, I think that's a fair area of inquiry.
Thank you, sir. Did he show you any of your discovery?
I already had my discovery.
Okay, so you had it in your cell?
I had it from my previous attorney, Kevin McCarthy.
Okay. I wasn't talking specifically about Seth LeBay, but okay. So you had your discovery and you got to see
He
your
is in
discovery,
Texas
correct?
now,
Okay. Do you ever
taking care of his sick dad.
Oh, John Travis Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Texas now. Yes, he's free.
see the DNA results?
Yes.
Okay. And what did those DNA results say?
Judge, again, that's going to be
To
hearsay.
sustain the objection in terms of, yeah, that's
That's
hearsay.
evidence.
Okay. You said Rory Wilson had a pipe, correct?
Yes.
And that I had the knife, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you testify that the pipe was in Rory Wilson's right
This is
hand?
another area that I would have focused on too, or I would have pick up for the next trial if John Travis Johnson's allowed to come back on the stand, because obviously they're trying to stop him from getting back up there. But I would, because Rory Wilson is left-handed, and John Travis Johnson's testimony is that he held this pipe or this weapon in his his right hand. Now, if you're not going to go into a situation with a weapon and use your non-dominant hand to fight with, it does not make sense at all. So that's something I would focus on as well, because that then puts his statement into his credibility right up the spout, just for a simple little thing like that. And yes, Travis is in Texas now. He's looking after his sick father. He actually, while he was on probation, they pulled him in not long after Ty was arrested, because he wasn't supposed to leave the state, and he did. He went to Texas to look after his father who'd become ill, and they I think they reprimanded him and let him go. Whereas Ty, no, bang, bond revoked, in jail, do not pass go.
Yes.
Are you aware that Rory Wilson is left-handed?
Yes.
Objection, Judge, again, testifying.
I'm asking a question.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
overrule the objection.
Okay.
Did you answer?
Yes, I did. Yes, I'm assuming I did testify it was in his
They
right
also
hand.
said
Okay.
that the John Travis Johnson is saying that it was Ty that had the knife, yet there was absolutely none of Ty's DNA. It was Paula Belmont's and Rory Wilson's DNA on the knife. Nothing of Ty's.
Okay. And are you aware that he's left-handed?
I am now.
Okay. Would you
Oops.
agree that it might be odd for a left-handed person to hold a weapon in his right hand?
No.
See that open-ended
You've had
question?
plenty of military
No.
experience, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do people often do that? Do they usually hold a
Objection,
weapon?
Yes.
Judge, to the relevance.
I'll overrule.
Because he took the plea. He agreed to testify against Ty, and they would let him out. That's the only reason. He took a plea deal. He'd been convicted and put in jail. Simple as that.
objection.
Based
That's why
on
this is so
experience.
unfair.
Based on your experience, does somebody usually fire a weapon with their left hand or their right hand if they're right-handed or left-handed?
Depends on their ambidexterity.
Ugh.
An ambidexterity.
Correct. The ability to use both hands.
I don't know what that means.
He's not ambidextrous.
So, that you're
Look at the
aware of
judge.
this Rory Wilson ambidextrous.
I'm not 100% aware of what he is, other than a human being.
Okay.
I think the judge is fed up.
So, all right. Now,
He sounds like Ty is too.
when you were in jail, did they allow you to witness any of the videos or anything like that after that? Did you watch any videos?
No.
Okay. So those are. And Ken, did you speak to anybody else about the case while you were in jail?
In passing, sure.
Okay. Do you remember anybody you may have talked to?
I was in there for a long time, Mr. Tucker. I talked to a lot of people. I'm
About
not
the case?
exactly an introvert.
About the case?
It had come up multiple times in multiple situations in multiple weeks, days, months, years that I was incarcerated. Of course, it came up in discussion.
Now, it's safe to say you really wanted out of jail.
Of course I did, as most human beings do.
Get that. Okay. As most human beings do. You know, what do you think most human beings would do to get out of jail?
Objection, Judge.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right. Let me just go over this one more time just to make sure I've got everything here. Okay. And you said you came down around the end of Fantasy Fest, correct?
Yes.
Judge, I'm going to object to ask and answer.
Sustain the objection multiple
As I asked it.
times.
Okay. As I asked it. Okay. And your girlfriend was Shayla at the time.
Shayla Premer. Yes.
Shayla Premer. Okay. And was she aware of your arrest?
Yes.
And do you still talk to her?
She passed away last year. No, I do not speak with her anymore.
It's my consensus. Did you speak with her prior to that?
Say again.
Did you speak with her prior to that?
Prior to what?
Prior to her passing?
Yes. She came down to see me
But did
after
you?
4.5 years of being out of touch with each other.
Okay.
And
she
then
see
she
you in-
died the night she went home.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't hear.
She died the night she went home.
Okay. I'm sorry to ask this, but can you tell me, please?
Judge, I'm gonna
Why is
object
any of
to
this relevant?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. What was the question?
I asked how she passed.
Sustain the objection.
Did you ever talk to her about the case?
Yes.
Objection, Judge.
Sustained. It's not relevant.
All right. And let's see. Now you got here. And just a second. You said there was damage to the warehouse from Hurricane Irma. Can you be a little more specific about what damage?
There's no power. There were holes in the roof.
No power, holes in the roof. Okay. Holes. And were you aware at the time that Rory Wilson was going through an eviction process with the warehouse?
Yes.
And what was your understanding of that?
There wasn't much of an understanding. I was just aware of the process
Okay, you're just aware of it. And how did you become aware of that?
because David Gross was also under the same, it was involved in the same process.
Okay, David Gross was getting evicted too.
Yes.
That is your friend from the beach.
Yes.
Now, let's go back to Penny Phelps shows up at the warehouse the night. This is the night of the crime, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You said you talked to her, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did they do anything else while they were there?
Objection, Judge. Asked and answered.
Actually, that hasn't been asked.
I'll overrule that objection.
Which incident in contact with Penny Phelps are you referring to?
Night of the crime, when she showed up the night of the crime.
The first interaction with her was not very informative or anything like that, and very short. The second interaction, when she came back after the raid, that was the second interaction that I had with her.
I'm talking about the first one, the night of the crime.
Okay, that was a very short interaction.
Short interaction. And did she ask you if anybody was sleeping inside? Or if anybody was inside?
Yes.
Okay. And did you tell her the door was locked?
No.
Okay, you didn't. Do you know if they went into any of the neighbors' apartments?
They did not.
Okay, they did not. Okay. And why did they leave? Did they tell you, or did they just up and leave?
Their investigation was, she was over. It was over. She just left. The interaction didn't give her anything she wanted, so she left.
Who didn't give her anything she wanted?
The interaction did not give her any information
from
she
you.
could use.
Right,
Correct.
the interaction there. But I mean, okay, was she there for you?
No.
Judge, objection.
I'm trying to understand here.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
I'm trying to just clarify here. Okay. She wasn't at the warehouse for you. So what was she there for?
I'm going to sustain it. We've been over this
Okay.
ground.
Okay.
It's-
All right, fine.
So she just turned up
Um,
there willy-nilly, did she?
So she just up and leaves,
Yes.
to your knowledge.
Yes.
Did she ask you for a phone number?
The truth of the matter is they had it worked out. It's on body cam footage of two of the officers the very night of the incident, both named Rory Wilson and John Travis Johnson. That night, they were the two prime suspects that they had, and that's why she went there. There's a matching, the car matches the description of the vehicle used, and yeah, why they didn't investigate it any further that night and got into the warehouse and found Rory, then maybe we wouldn't be here, because they're just, who knows why they didn't follow through.
Asked me for my phone number?
Yeah.
Of course she did.
Okay, she did. Okay. And you didn't have any interactions with her until was it the raid, right?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any interactions with anybody else from the MCSO in between
I do
those
believe I
times?
did. Now that I think about it, I think she did contact me about the eviction scenario that was going on at the apartment.
Okay.
And what I knew about it,
Okay.
because of my association with Mr. David Gross and the fact that he was going through an eviction process as well. I had learned that there was something up with the zoning requirements, that it was no longer a residential area. It wasn't a residential area. It was a warehouse district, this and that. And she wanted to know if I knew anything about that. And yes, I did share what information I knew, who owned the building, and what process of eviction Mr. Gross was in at that stage.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did they take anything from the warehouse when they left after the raid?
When I encountered them,
Hmm?
no, nothing else was removed.
And nothing was missing?
Of mine,
Just in
of
general?
yours, I don't understand what would be missing. I don't understand.
Again, I'm asking you if were you aware of anything in the warehouse missing when they left?
No.
And you did say they came back a second time, correct? After the raid where you weren't there.
When I was not there, I don't know what happened. When I came back, they showed up one time
Yeah.
and left.
Okay.
I did not make contact with them again that night.
Let's see, is there anything else? Okay. Your Honor, I think, can I, for lack of a better word, excuse the witness for a moment while actually, can we sidebar, Your Honor?
You can approach the bench.
Now, this is the bit that I was questioning earlier, if you're watching earlier, because what's happened here is that Ty has a heap of prior testimony and statements that John Travis Johnson has submitted as evidence, as part of discovery. And some of the answers that Travis has given in his testimony in this trial contradicts that evidence. So he wants to impeach him on that evidence, but he's not sure what he can bring in and what he can't bring in. So he wants to excuse the jury and have a conversation to make sure that what he's going to bring in is allowable as impeachment material. But they don't actually, he has to actually request twice that the witness be removed from the courtroom, and that's
Looks like a
not
good
normal
time to take
courtroom
an
procedure.
afternoon break, members of the jury. Shoot for 3 o'clock. Again, you don't have to stay in the jury room. Just let the bailiff know who's going to want to go out. 3 o'clock, be available. Follow the cautionary
So he
instructions.
sends the
and
jury out,
We'll go from there.
but he thinks he's going to let Travis sit there and get a heads up on what he's going to be impeached on. No. So you don't reckon the trial's going to be till February next year now, Christine?
All right, so they're gone. So
Definitely seem like it because I think the state agree giving more time. I'm pretty sure because hopefully next year it'd be more time for Ty to get everything because of the motion because he's trying to dismiss Judge Jones too, and
Yeah.
then they move him to another area. I mean another try and
Another
they may
venue.
move him, but I don't know. I mean that's why it seems like when I listen to when I streamed
The phone call.
yeah, phone call. That's what it seemed like to me, but it'd be nice
We
because
won't find out until
judge.
October.
I don't like judge
No,
this judge either.
I don't like any of them.
Not me either.
They have, Louise, they have. So the district attorney got banned. She got barred from the Florida bar for 8 months because of her prosecutorial misconduct in this case. The chief police officer, Penny Phelps, she's no longer in law enforcement, not working. And one of the investigators as well got demoted to call center operator and out of law enforcement completely. So they have lost their jobs. They have been punished already. But unfortunately, the suspension was only for 8 months, and Colleen Dunn was allowed to reapply and get back onto the Florida bar. And now they've rehired her, even though they know that she's been suspended twice, not once, twice. So it just goes to show you the level and the camaraderie, well, not the camaraderie, but the what they consider to be normal behavior down in Florida. And let's face it, there's a lot happening in Florida at the moment.
we're here without the jury on the record, so there's some impeachment materials, so in the form of some video or transcript or what?
It's quite a bit of stuff, Your Honor.
Well,
It's everything from documents to video to audio.
She's trying to do a service to against
Well,
Dennis Ward
again,
too.
you know,
It
Yes.
seems like it.
have to
Yes.
Down the
let
road.
the opposition see what is, and if there's an objection, I'd have to make a ruling on it. That's,
Your Honor, again, would you like to excuse the witness first?
See, he had to ask again.
yeah, if it will somehow or other ruin your element of surprise if he's here, I suppose that would be reasonable.
Because they don't want to be exposed as being corrupt. They want, if he gets found guilty, it goes away. And yeah, they've accused the state. He's accused the state of evidence tampering and a whole heap of stuff. So they want him to shut up because he's got too much on them. Way too much.
So you're still going to be testifying, but during this session, Mr. Johnson asked you to stay in the courtroom, but don't go very far, and don't discuss your testimony with anyone.
All right. So they go through all that.
All right, so
Prior to knowing, according to him.
Travis Johnson testified that to his memory, I met you, when I said I met you, I don't remember talking to you prior to that. So where's the impeachment?
What he said is he'd be surprised to learn that.
He said, I don't remember meeting you before the day we met.
See, this is where we're having problems, Your Honor. Apparently, we're hearing different things, and they said they would like to get a read back from the court reporter, and apparently I need one too, Your Honor.
well, what are the records? I mean, what are these records?
Well, the phone records were actually quite concerned with the investigation because they didn't know how this
Well,
take everybody's.
Now, if Ty had presented the phone records as or submitted them as evidence, he wouldn't have to have this argument because it would be immediate impeachment. He could just say, I'd like to submit this as evidence. Travis has just testified to the opposite of that, and I've got the evidence right here to show you that we've had communications prior. Why didn't he have those with him? Why? Why, Ty? Tell me why.
Well, whose phone records are we? I mean, whose telephone is this a record of?
This would be John Travis Johnson's phone and my phone at the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's one of the reasons that we're trying to bring attention to this case, Louise. We're trying because it deserves as much attention as Karen Reid, and it doesn't seem to be gaining traction at all with anybody. And the only thing I can think of is that he's not a woman and he's not, a young hot chickie babe, which is really, really sad. We have tried contacting multiple stations, Court TV, Vinnie Politano, you name it, and there is so many similarities to both of them, and yet Karen Reid has, not that I'm denying her any of that, because I believe she's 100% innocent on that as well, but she's actually got enough money to pay top class attorneys to defend her. She's also got a defense fund that people are raising money for. Ty has nothing. He's lucky to get a pencil sharpener to handwrite his own motions. That's it. The inconsistencies are disgraceful. So yeah, spread the word, love. Spread the word. That's all I can say. That's all we're trying to do.
And okay, so
That's a very big concern. Yes.
Well, you did ask him about it. I thought he was somewhat equivocal, but I don't see a problem if he wants to show that to him and he says, this refreshes my recollection, or I guess we did talk. I would overrule the objection to that if in fact he can say, yeah, that reflects my telephone.
He's only just got some pencils and paper just recently.
Seems to be our biggest problem is what he actually said.
I don't see any big problem. It's implicit in every inherent in every trial. It's
Okay, let's see. And like I said, Your Honor,
You like to turn the screen so you can see the screen?
yeah, you can do that if you like.
yeah, sure.
Okay, the next one that I offered to them was, okay, I asked specifically if he had ever given testimony or a proffer prior to my bond hearing in 2019. He said no. There's a video of the proffer that he gave us right before my bond hearing. Literally right before my bond hearing. He said he gave no statements.
To defend her.
Well, what is it that you want to?
Just again, to show that, again,
What did you want to show him?
I'm sorry. I misunderstood. No, it's literally, this is the proffer he gave. I can't see from here. Sorry, it's hard to mouse and not be able to see. Okay. This side. So, that's the proffer. That's it.
This is Detective Matt Pritchers. It is January 24th, 2019. It is 12:08 p.m. I'm with Tyrone.
Okay, so we.
Assistant Public Defender Kevin McCarthy.
All right, so we can stop it right there. I mean, you're certainly not going to. Okay, look. Okay, so he did say that he didn't,
Yes, he
his
did.
recollection, provide a proffer, a statement before your bond hearing. I don't know. So,
I think he said, I think timing, he said he's not sure.
No. No.
Never a proffer. This was a questioning. The detective and the prosecutor were trying to clarify a few things. This was never a proffer as it relates to potential plea agreement. This was a discussion about details that they needed clarified.
Still,
Yes, you did meet with these people. I don't think he denied meeting with Connie Dunn and Penny Phelps. He's never denied that on the stand. He doesn't know if it occurred prior to the bond hearing. He said, well, when was your bond hearing? I don't know. So
No.
I would overrule the objection
Bullshit.
again, in abundance of caution. If he wants to, Mr. Tucker wants to show that, hey, look at here, you made a statement, you were with your lawyer, it was before my bond hearing. Okay, I mean, you all can clarify that on redirect, but I think it's within the scope of so-called impeachment that I would overrule the objection. The only question is, what exactly you're going to do to publish this or to show it to him? That's my question.
Yeah, and Your Honor, I would submit that, okay, I don't need to.
This
show
is
much of
this
video.
is where I think Ty, because of his inexperience, doesn't know how to get this evidence in. So he's doing it post-hand instead of being he's being reactive instead of proactive. So that proffer should have been submitted as evidence and ready to go. So that when he asked the question and Travis denied it, he could bring it straight up then and there to the jury. Do you know what I mean? Like that's instead of arguing the fact afterwards and trying to get this evidence in, the actual proper procedures on how to get this evidence into court and admissible is where I think lack of experience and qualifications and stuff puts a pro se defendant on the back foot already. So unfortunately, this is probably a good learning curve for Ty, and hopefully he takes it in his stride and it sounds like he's got a much better grasp of the process and procedures of the law now, and another 4 months of before the next trial, if that gets approved, and a change of venue, I think he stands a very good chance of beating this. Fingers crossed.
To impeach it. I mean, we just need to know what happened. That's all, right? That's it. Instead of, man, I don't want to play the whole video for the jury. I know you don't.
No,
So
it wouldn't be.
I would defer to you, Your Honor, as far as how much, or just how we do this to just, again, to show that it happened when he said it did.
Mhm.
when he
Judge, my
suggests.
only thing is, I think that if the defendant asks the witness again, did you ever meet with Dunn and Phelps? He would say yes. The question is, was it on the eve of his bond hearing? Nobody knows when that was. I don't know.
No,
when
he
that was.
said my bond hearing was in February 2019, and Travis went, no, I didn't proffer until April 2022.
Mhm.
Correct? There was none of this bullshit about speaking to Colleen Phelps. He oh, I don't like this prosecutor.
Jury doesn't know. I know you know, but nobody else knows. So was this on the eve of the bond hearing? Potentially, who knows?
Well, I also asked.
There was never a deal with Tommy Dunn. Well,
Okay, well,
She approached him. He said that.
okay. Nevertheless, it would seem to me that, Mr. Johnson, I'd like to show you this, this videotape,
Remember.
and, I don't think it needs to go more than, like 10 seconds or something like that. Sir, do you see the date? Do you see the time? Is that you there? Is that your lawyer there? Is that, you aware that this occurred prior to my bond hearing? I think, just a couple seconds into it with that information on the screen,
Yep.
that should achieve your purpose. All right, so.
Thank you, Judge Jones. Up yours, Mansfield.
Mhm.
Okay, so this one, 12 here. This one, I would submit, Your Honor, we're gonna have to listen to the whole thing. And this is because John Travis Johnson says he went around once, right? When the case to join, so to speak.
Right.
He goes around once. Black sedan is no longer there, correct? That's what he said.
No, that's not what he said. He said he went around once and came back to the warehouse.
No, okay, I think we're getting confused here because, okay, remember we came up in sidebar about this.
Yeah.
I was confused at first.
Right.
Well, first time they went up there, apparently they went back to the warehouse.
After they made the checked out the place and came back to the
And then
warehouse.
when they came back, the truck circles around once and then they, comes back for the second.
Right. After they saw the black vehicle in front, went around again, and it was gone.
Okay, good. Because this is the 911 call, right? This is Gabrielle Torini, and she literally, in real time, is talking about seeing somebody jump into that black sedan after, John Travis Johnson supposedly gone, and watching them come from the treehouse, jump in that black sedan, head off the other way down low. So if the sedan's gone, how is she seeing this?
I'm not following what this.
I can't hear that very well. All right. Let's go through to the next. They spend a lot of time arguing backwards and forwards. And it's very, very difficult to hear.
No, I know what you're thinking now. Because unfortunately, he says two different things, even in the same statement.
This looks like his original police interview. Yeah, that's Penny Phelps.
So how much earlier in the day is this talk about going on there before
8 o'clock at night. Okay. Well, so who knew there was money up in that house, in that tree house? Who was talking about Don and money? Was there a doubt?
Just switched it from Rory Wilson to Tyrone in less than, what, 2 minutes?
Well, I mean, you can interpret it multiple ways, man. I mean, who knew? That doesn't mean exclusively, but nevertheless, if you want to play the man's statement again, I mean, again, it's hard to understand why, but if you, I assume
You
this,
don't need to understand why, Judge. You just need to allow him fair
So who
a fair
knew
trial.
in that house,
Yep.
in that tree house? Who was talking about Don and money?
Anyway,
Was there a doubt?
let's go back to where the testimony restarts. Where is it? So this is what I mean. He's going back after the fact. This is the original police interview. Remember the red cap on the table. Hello.
No, I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember calling it. You know, I don't remember these things. I don't. It's been a few days, right? Well, but I mean, I don't remember everything they don't. Rory, what's the girl? You're calling that, or he's calling you at 4:17 in the morning? 4:17 in the morning. Yeah. No, think about that.
Come here.
And you understand, because the police.
Come here.
And he's calling me, I
Hey.
think he was asking me what was
Come here.
going on. So that day on that Saturday, 4:17? Yeah, in the morning, Saturday.
Someone's trying to get me to go to bed. Mummy, Mummy. It's going to knock everything off my desk. Oh, shit. Gotcha. Hello.
Now, so far, Mr. Johnson, would you consider any of that a lie?
No, I mean, I really don't, and I don't have 100% recall of what was discussed, what was communicated in phone calls.
Yep.
I'm not lying at this point. I don't think I've divulged the truth. It may be by omission from fear of being implicated.
You don't remember what you were talking about with Rory Wilson on the night of the crime?
No.
Right afterwards?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Well, the cops are reaching you today, that didn't happen. Is it reason he would say that that's not what he called you? Not that I'm aware of, but I'm pretty sure that the only thing he interested me is what's going on. You know, what the fuck is going on? So. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to help you out. Right. That's why you're the only thing, all of a sudden I'm catching you that, something's not quite on it. Because I know you said you're scared about driving, all right? Put yourself in our shoes. None of this is looking good, and you're not helping.
Amen, sister.
Anything. Well, I mean, I'm trying to do the best I can. I mean, I don't get part of it. I've never done anything wrong in my freaking life, dude. Like, you know, I want to make sure that my shit's safe and. Have you ever been arrested before? Like, yeah, but I just got arrested for paraphernalia, you know? What about Dallas? I've been arrested for tickets. Anything else about it? No. Any reason to be assault with deadly weapon from Dallas? No. Assault with a deadly weapon? No. Okay. Not me. Gotcha. Don't have it on the record. I've got like a class A misdemeanor. That's petty theft. It was $150 fine, Texas. You know,
So we ran your
right. I don't have it. I've been on probation one time for DWI. Yeah, whenever I was 21 years old. Yeah.
Roy did the same thing with him. Oh, yeah. He didn't keep the little bit with the years. You have a problem with
No,
that?
I don't have a problem.
No.
No.
No issue?
I've thought about this year. I thought they were trying to keep down, you know, I think we're trying to keep a place over their head. You know what I'm saying? And I was really had enough common sense to
You ever crossed them in a bad way? You ever did them wrong or anything?
no, never done anything
So they take it.
to anybody. No, I mean, like, as far as I know, you know, we're wrong with ways, you know, but we were cool. I was there, you know, back today, John, help keep the shit, you know, together. Trying to get the life back on, trying to get, you know, a court case going on, you know, with Cosmo, the eviction. Like, you know, I told him I'd do whatever I could, you know.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean, I was having trouble stopping where I was.
Louise, I just put the link in chat that's got the full playlist of Ty Tucker on my channel for you to have a look at, and that's got like heaps of information, heaps of video footage, heaps of testimony. Yeah, a whole lot of stuff if you wanted to have a look. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's blatant, absolutely blatant, but they're being allowed to get away with it. And that's why we need some exposure, because otherwise an innocent man is going to jail.
Wanted to. So did you just say you were homeboys, your friends
We were,
with Rory Wilson?
for lack of better terms, yeah, we were in acquaintances with each other's.
But you said you
We had
didn't
no
know him.
negativity toward each other at this point in
Okay,
time.
but homeboys is a little different.
It's a lack of a
Acquaintances.
better term, per se. But friends, no.
Still don't think you're lying.
You're welcome,
No, I don't, Tucker.
Tucker. That's a bit
I'm having
aggressive.
a hard time accepting the truth is what I'm having a hard time dealing with. The hard time accepting the fact that I'm caught. That's what I see. I see fear in my eyes of being persecuted, being prosecuted for this crime. That's what's starting to come into my
But you wanted to get
awareness
high,
is that-
dude.
Okay, I wasn't
And that's
asking.
another thing. No, the whole point of this was for him to get high. That's why he agreed to go and do it. And then he testifies that when they got back to the warehouse, there was no discussion between them whatsoever. Nothing. Didn't discuss anything. Not even like, hey, dude, where's the gear? Can I get high now? No? No? That was the whole point.
Asking what was in
I'm
your
being
head.
caught.
Mr.
I
Johnson,
need
Mr.
to
Johnson,
admit.
Mr. Johnson. I wasn't asking what was in your head. I was
You're
asking.
asking me if I lied.
One step.
I did not lie.
He gave a
Oh.
responsive answer, so now we'll
I
move
was-
on
Body
to the
language.
I
next.
haven't got to my question, Your Honor. I was asking. I didn't ask what was in his
Adverse
head. I'm
witness.
asking what came out of his mouth.
I did not
Well,
lie.
I believe that encompassed, if you still think you're not lying, is asking what's in his head. So I think it was a responsive answer, so we can go on to the next.
What's wrong with that? So I don't know why I would have any problem with it all.
Travis is just pissed off that he's been
My
caught.
feeling
caught
was
out.
there was some really bad luck that goes through the road. You know, some very bad luck. You know, it's nothing.
So you have to move. I can't see the chat.
What
Come on, move.
could you have done? I mean, no, I just think, you know, I think I didn't believe anybody, man. You can find anybody that knows me whatsoever. I'm not violent. I'm not aggressive. I don't start fights. You know what I mean? I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I've seen enough violence to last a lifetime, man. You know, and for him to say that he's mad at me,
Matt, no, just my feeling, I listened to him, the details of his side of the story, the reason we're here.
Really?
My feeling was, damn, this guy must have really crossed something to be going in here talking like this with us.
Just completely off topic because I've got one cat asleep on my mouse. Another cat is annoying me to go to bed. I actually bought another camera so that I can do a kitty cam because they do nothing but circle my desk. And all you can see is this tail going across the screen. And it looks like I'm waving a stick with a tail on it. So, yeah, that should arrive tomorrow and I'll set up kitty cam. That should be funny. They should be my mascots. It's curled up in a little ball right on my mat, on my mouse pad.
We spent a lot of time trying to get
I have my vices, I have, the things that I like to do, but I'm not.
There's a big difference of when he gives us a time or something, we've been able to verify.
It's only because he took the deal, sweetheart.
I don't know.
They gave him a sweet-ass deal to testify against Ty and then let him out.
If you let me explain to Your Honor that there's sections here. That's what, this is not the complete video. The videos were given to both the state and to the defense in sections.
Yeah.
Yes, members of the jury, this section of this one long interview or interrogation is now going to be succeeded by the next section. So it's not all on one drive.
Colleen, done, chopped it all up.
Don't know, I can remember times I had, and I just don't. I wish I did. I can't afford that shit. Really do wish I could remember times better. And I'm going to write everything down so I can remember this shit.
And you and I have had a good conversation for the last couple of days. I'm going to tell you what just happened and why I'm so upset.
Now that's Penny Phelps. You can barely hear her, and I've got it boosted. Sorry.
And the reason we have to do this is because Ty threatened to show her. Yes. Yes.
She just told him that Tyrone threatened April's baby, which is Rory Wilson's girlfriend's, who was pregnant. So she's just told him a complete lie to make Ty out to be this ass out there. And Ty's actually, at the same time, in the police station, unbeknownst to Travis, being interviewed at the same time.
These people in the story.
Yeah.
They organizations who have nothing to do with any of it.
No.
They're not people. You better stop talking. You better start lying. Because if anything more is done to the police, I'm going to take care of you and your baby. And I've got a 7-year-old first-time mother who is scared to death that she's going to get killed merely for telling the truth.
And I told her to call this morning. She didn't do anything. I remember because I came back to Dallas. Remember, I called you guys, told you, and got my stuff and got out of there. I told April, she told me that she would give me a home, give me a call, and I would come back and home.
Penny Phelps needs a taser to the back of the head.
Okay, just to clarify, we just heard what Captain Phelps told you about me supposedly threatening April, right? And you did talk to her that morning, correct? Talked to her the morning when you gave her your phone number and all that.
April?
Yeah, April Walker.
Yes, I did.
Okay, and did she seem distressed? Did she seem like, did she seem like she had been threatened?
From my assessment, no.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people in the story are good, decent people. And you're one of the good, decent people.
Yeah, so see, hear that? So the read technique is about making him feel safe. She's just told him that he's a good person and Ty's a bad person. And yeah, that's how they coerce certain answers and testimony in interrogations. It's a really controversial. I think it's actually been banned now, but it's a really controversial technique in interrogations.
Your guy falls back from hard rock and is really taking life and moving forward and positive. You did everything you could with a bad situation.
You did everything you could with a bad situation. That's what she's saying.
You get victimized. You lose your tools, you lose your cooking utensils, you scratch your truck, and you still stay positive. You're not the one out there saying, we're going to beat you and kill you. What you're doing is you're right then talking to the police, trying to get this stuff straight. You're one of the good guys in the story. Rory's one of the good guys in the story.
Rory's one of the good guys in the story. You're one of the good guys in the story. Rory's been convicted. He's in life imprisonment. Travis got convicted. Yeah.
By April, he doesn't have a lot of money, but he was working. He got somewhat decent place to stay. The conversation you had last night. It's not the Taj Mahal that you were looking, but it was a roof, and it was a place, and it was safe.
I'm trying to make it safe.
I know. Yep, and Travis can do right by everybody. And Rory was right by April. He knows she's scared. He knows that it's her first baby. He's proud to be with her, and he's proud to be having a son. He's waiting for that baby to come into this world. And there's good people in the story. You're a good person in the story. April's a good person in the story. Well, Troy is a good person in the story. The asshole in the story, you and I both know who the asshole in the story is.
So she said the bad person in the story. You and I both know who the bad person in the story is.
Now, we both know.
And he goes, Ty? Like as in a question? Ty?
You and I both know who the bad guy in the story is. You know. They've only making it worse, Travis. How the hell do you go to it?
Just out of curiosity, did you just say, is it Ty?
Yes, I did.
And she, again, why would you say that?
I don't know, because the simple question is, you know who it is? Is it Ty? That's a responsive answer
the asshole.
in
To quote, I'm the
a
asshole.
conversation. Yes, this is with the
Okay.
implications.
Just checking.
The 27-year-old, 9-month pregnant woman and tell her to her face, I'm going to hurt you and your baby. I'm going to take care of you and your baby if you don't stop
Disgraceful.
running your mouth. What's April trying to do? Find out what's going on with the children. She's home alone.
Yeah.
Scared to death.
Yeah.
Ask a simple question. You know what she said to you.
Yeah.
How come Rory's stuff is on the internet? And Ty isn't. And you honest with her and said, well, Hurry's in jail and Ty's not. And
Yeah, there's a good reason for that.
How did that happen?
Because Rory's guilty and Ty's not.
I don't tell her.
Brett, I think what happened is, let's talk about the people living in the treehouse. Let's talk about the good people in the story.
I actually don't know what Travis's charges were, or Rory's. I didn't see their trials. I just know that they were charged and convicted. But I would assume that they would be similar charges, especially for life. It would have to be a first degree felony. So, and someone was killed. They were stabbed to death. So they're all accomplices in the same. Well, they're framing Ty, but yeah, they're the two co-defendants are accomplices in the crime. So it would have to be aggravated burglary. I'm not sure what degree of murder. I'd have to look up his trial, but I think Steve's got his trial. They're going to do. I think he was going to stream that from memory from his last stream. I think he's found John Travis Johnson's actual trial. So Justice is a Process. Have a look on his channel, keep an eye on that and see. And if I see it, I'll share it.
That's other people living in the treehouse. Addicted to crack, selling their body for crack, people coming and going worse than the place that you're living in, because there's no one in that treehouse that's trying to take care of the property. That's too old.
Where's the treehouse?
The place across from CDA.
Okay, I've heard about the crack.
Yep, the crack den. You know what? And you know the kind of people that are hanging out the crack den.
No, I don't.
Now,
It's a good possibility that they
to be
were.
clear, you're not lying here.
No.
You don't know the treehouse. You haven't been there.
No, never in my life. Before I moved, before I
But
come here
when
after
you're
the
giving
hurricane,
this- when
I've
she's
never
asking
been there
you,
before.
had you been to the treehouse already?
After this, yes, this is after the incident. Of course, this is November 22nd. The incident happened November 17th. That's a ridiculous question. Of course, I know that where the treehouse is now.
That's not what you're telling her.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
Oh,
I knew
really?
where it was. Nobody referred to it. We're going to the treehouse. I didn't know what it was called. We're going over here to this place where the crack is.
There.
That's what I knew of it.
That's a house in a tree, you dickhead. It's a house in a tree. Where's my... Oh, let me see if I've got a picture of it. Where's that? Oh, he makes me mad. He makes me mad. Where is it? I know I've got a picture somewhere. Nope, not that one. Of course, Jody decides that she's going to clean up her entire her entire filing system, and now doesn't know where she's put it. That's always the way. But yes, there is a whole. It's literally a treehouse. You couldn't call it anything else. It's
I didn't know it called the treehouse. Never heard it referred to that till this incident.
The crack den is what she calls it, right?
Yes, I called it that.
no, nothing makes sense in this case. Nothing.
Mhm. So you think you're being honest here?
I know I'm being honest here.
You get mad.
Let me get here. Sorry, you're out of my eyes. Not as good as these.
All right, come on.
Yeah, and I believe that.
You get the gist.
Yeah.
So basically, we all know he's full of shit, and
Give him a
And he felt-
question here.
fed him shit.
Okay, you say that, she got the narrative, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now, she couldn't possibly be throwing you a lifeline, could she?
No.
I mean,
No, she was being a good detective and telling me exactly what she was doing.
I mean,
Asking him if she's throwing him a lifeline and calls for him to speculate.
Well,
That's what she's doing.
well, I'll overrule the objection.
now, and Mr. Johnson, you testified already that you were afraid of a life sentence, that you were upset because you were afraid of a life sentence. Is that correct? That you were
Sure.
afraid right here, correct?
I was afraid of being, charged with murder.
Okay. You're afraid of being charged with murder.
I didn't think you knew. You didn't ask. You told them you didn't know. You didn't talk about it. He's been caught out so many times.
When Penny Phelps told you this story, did it all of a sudden, were you afraid or?
I was in shock.
Okay. And just, you were in shock. Okay, let's play a little bit longer here.
Pregnant woman. And that's not you. He broke bad. And he did the one thing no one talked about. There was never any plan to hurt anybody or kill anybody. And now you all been living with that for the last 5 days. Nobody's left. Everybody's had a difficult time with the work. You know the one guy who's walking around loving it? Bragging to everybody today.
Bragging to everybody today.
He's in jail for a free man. He thinks this is funny, Travis. He's bragging. He's not filled with guilt. He's not filled with remorse. He's not having trouble sleeping. He's not mourning the life of another human being. And old man, you know what he told us last night? Man, I heard he got stabbed 7 times.
This is all bullshit. All of it.
There's 2 sides to the story, Travis. The side of all the people that got jammed up in bad.
Now, Mr. Johnson, would you agree that, again, it seems to be that Captain Phelps is implying heavily that I had something to do with this?
Yeah, she's trying to coax the truth out of me.
No.
She's using me to do it, correct?
Of course she is.
And, okay, we'll keep on going.
Anyway, those are good people who make mistakes. The other side of the story is the bad person did a bad thing and feels really, really good about doing a bad thing. That's not you. What I need you to talk to us about, Travis, is you gotta give us your side of the story. You gotta let us know, because I believe in my heart and soul, you're one of the good guys on the good side of the story. You're not over here. You've never, your whole life's been over there. You're not violent guys. You've never demonstrated to hurting anybody. You're a good person that got just all jammed a really bad thing. And the really sad thing is, Travis, you weren't even up in there. You drove up, we got you on camera. You drove past the house at 4:08, real slow, so everybody could see where it was and where they were gonna go when they came up out of there. And a little bit after 8 o'clock, you come back and you park your truck right in front of that camera in the gate. And they get out, Ty gets out, Detroit gets out, and then you get the smartest one here. You don't get out of the truck. You get out of there. You get out of there. And then everything goes to shit. And now here you sit.
Oh, okay. I don't know whether it's stopped or whether it's paused. Mr. Johnson, just to clarify here, you haven't said anything about me at this point, have you?
No.
Okay. And as far as you know, nobody else has either, right?
And as far as I know, that is what they're telling me. That's as far as I knew.
Yeah, I mean, but
Anything,
as far
that's
as you
all I
know,
knew.
as far as you know what they're telling you, correct?
Yes, all I know is what they're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, let me make sure that this video actually stopped and it didn't have any more to go.
It stop it.
They
It
didn't.
stop?
That's sort of the next section.
Oh, well, here, I'll let you do it again.
So on to the next section. That
I get it. And we're here to make sure that you are not going to get hurt. April's scared of that too. She's at our legal house right now, Travis. So when I tell you that you are going to be safe, I'm telling you you're going to be safe. But in order to make that happen, I got to know what happened. I got to make sure, Travis, you're a good guy. You just say it. You just say it. You tell me it. That's what I think I do. Don't leave anything out, Travis, from the start. I get it.
Travis, if my captain does, he's not gonna get hurt.
Now, Mr. Johnson, what was your response when she said, you know, is this what happened?
I told her what had happened. I told her that she was on point with her narrative.
Did you just say, you just said it?
Yes.
Okay.
I said, she just said it. There
Okay.
were differences.
What I'm saying is, so far you haven't told her anything about your story, right?
No.
Okay. And she just nails it on the head, right?
Yes.
Despite the lack of any evidence.
Oops, hold on. Let's get that going. So, that's the excuse me.
He's not gonna get hurt. see anyone, let's go get some. And I said, water, you know, where the water comes. I said, oh, right there, we'll get out. You just do whatever. Okay. And I did it. Hold up, they got it all. And I saw them, I got scared that one. I went back to the house, and they came back and divvied up the money between the two of them. And gave me $50 bill and put it in my hand.
Hang on a second. He said they both came back to the house, divvied the money up, but then he goes for a walk down the street and bumps into Rory Wilson walking back from Keys Electric. How did that happen? I thought he was back at the house. They're so full of shit. He couldn't lie straight in bed.
They don't do that. I'm scared to death that, you know, if I'm out, or if I said anything or do anything sideways or whatnot, I think the best thing I can do is just try to keep doing one thing and be the right guy and be the right thing.
Travis, I can't tell you how happy it made me today when I talked to you earlier. Here they have it.
Yeah. Travis, sorry, Mr. Johnson. Would you agree that, yes, if you were actually there and participated, it would be very easy for you to know the details to fill in that story?
Know the details of what?
The narrative, Phelps's
Yes.
narrative. Would it be very easy for you to fill in those details
Yes.
if you actually were there, took part in?
Yes.
And as more than the driver?
As more than a driver.
Well, she gave you, you're the driver now. This is where it comes from, right?
No, if this was the truth, I was the driver. It was my truck. Of course I drove it.
Yeah, you wouldn't let anyone else drive it.
What the operative term here, I guess everybody's used, is, were you the getaway driver?
Yes.
Okay, but this is the first time we've ever heard of this.
In this scenario from another detective.
Any
She was
detective,
identifying me as
any detective.
Yes,
any-
I was being identified as the
This is the first
getaway
time.
driver.
This is the first time it's come up, though, right?
They did it earlier in the previous part of the interview.
They called,
David Fernandez was saying we have pictures of your truck.
but did he say you were the
Of
getaway?
course, if you're given the option of saying, did you commit the murder or are you just the getaway driver, which one are you going to pick? It's not rocket science.
Driver?
I don't recall.
Okay. I know we just watched it, but okay. But for this purpose, yes, did Phelps just call you the getaway driver?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Now, again, you haven't offered up anything at this point. Like,
No.
you haven't told anybody anything.
No.
Okay.
Judge, I'm not objecting.
I'm going to
Is there
sustain,
any question?
sustain the objection. That's inaccurate characterization of what was just
Oh.
presented on the tape. He hasn't told anybody anything. It's not.
Oh, that's not true. You're right. You're right, Your Honor. I made a mistake in my wording there. Okay. You didn't specifically give them any details of your involvement in the crime prior to this.
No.
Okay.
Oh, good morning, Miss Duderhef. Glad to join us.
There we go.
And the other thing, I did that, it's in a good part. When I was here before I went to you,
Because I have the first one worried about you, worried about me, worried about Detroit. Because in this story, I saw all of that.
We're just towards the end of the cross-examination of John Travis Johnson in Ty Tucker's trial in January.
Hold on, I'll pause it.
Who were they that were talking about going to the tree? Who's with you?
There we go.
Is there some difficulty in hearing?
I can try and do that.
Okay, let's try.
Let's see. Maybe actually, if I may just get a little closer to make it easier.
Okay, however it's easier to operate.
Such a smarmy judge. Snarky.
We haven't had a problem. You're good, you're good. We're not in a hurry, we're safe. Travis, you're safe. We got you, buddy. You're safe.
We got you, buddy.
You're in your, you're in your, respect. I didn't come down. I don't.
It's all right, buddy. It's okay. Don't cry now.
We know you didn't do this. We never meant for it to happen.
Didn't he just testify that he could cope in stressful situations? I'm sure that's what he said.
I don't know what to say. Travis, say the truth, and that's what you're doing, that's the best thing you can do. We don't do this, if we just want to be published, Travis, that's all we want, and we're gonna have to be safe.
Travis, did you just tell her you will do anything they want you to do?
So at this point, I would cooperate with them 100%, yes.
Said specifically that.
Okay, what are you implying by me saying that? I said I would cooperate with them. Is there a misconstruement of what that meant to you or to me?
It's,
I
He's
will
asking you a question. Answer it.
Just ask a simple
And I answered
question.
it. I will comply. That's what that meant.
okay. We'll move on.
Why would you make a big deal out of it, Travis?
We're gonna go with him, Travis, okay? We're gonna talk to the city attorney, and we'll see what we can do, okay? I don't think that decision, Travis, I know that. I know that. Travis, let's get some of the details so I can talk to the city attorney, okay? So it's you, it's Tommy, and it's Roy, and upstairs. And what time do you need this discussion? How long in the day, how late in the day?
It all transpired in 30 minutes,
Okay,
you know, it was just, was after a little while, he went to Burger King, he came back, and he said to Tyrone, you know, this is happening, you know, and they're doing it, you know, let's go over here and get this money.
Mr. Johnson, did you just say that Rory Wilson came back from Burger King and said, let's go get this money?
Yes, when Rory Wilson returned with the information that he had gotten it from Burger King.
Okay, so he's the one that wants to do the robbery on the Treehouse,
Yes,
correct?
he's the one who got the information, correct?
Okay,
Yes.
okay, just clarifying.
They said, well, you know, we should drive us over there, and I was like, man, I said, I don't really want to be in part of this, but yeah, I'll track you out there.
okay.
I would, and I said, I'll do it. And I said, I know, whatever's whatever. I'm not looking for cut or anything like that. I just, you know, want some gas in my truck.
Just trying to take care of you.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Travis, you're trying to survive, we get it.
I want to gas my truck.
So how much earlier in the day is this talk about going over there before 8 o'clock at night?
You know,
Okay. Boom.
yeah, maybe now.
So who knew there was money up in that house, in that tree house? Who was talking about no one was money up there? Was there a dollar amount for that? Did you know how much money was up in there? Did you say how many there was money up in that house?
Somebody records.
Okay.
Travis, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. Did you just say that
Yes, I did.
I'm the one who said there's
Yes, I
money at
did.
the Treehouse, and I got it from Burger King.
That you did.
Okay.
That was inconsistent with mine. Number one, confusing you two with each other.
Oh,
Okay.
there's one's
What does Rory
one's
Wilson
dark
look like?
skinned
He's
and
black.
one's white.
Big black man, small black man.
Right. Your name's Tyrone.
I know my name's Tyrone, but that doesn't make me black.
No, it doesn't. But that was
Okay.
the confusion between the two. Is the
Okay,
name
just-
Tyrone, in my mind, correlates to a black man. Unfortunately, I don't mean to, sound racist, but that's probably where the confusion in my mind started. Because I
Mhm.
am not familiar with you two guys that well.
Okay.
Right.
Well, again, just a minute earlier, didn't you say a minute, maybe
It
two?
was Rory, yes.
3 days prior, you were living together. You've been living together for 3 days. Surely you can distinguish between Rory and Ty. You're.
It's Rory
That's
Wilson.
an answer, Judge.
Okay.
Already answered this question.
Okay, it's crossed.
Okay.
We'll give him a little leeway. So anyway,
I think we've established this. Now, in your story today, who is it?
It was Rory that came back with the information.
Okay.
And clarification that I don't even recall naming you as the individual with the information. I wasn't aware that I did name you as the one with the information until I'd gone over some of these interviews with other people. But the clarification was that it was Rory, not you, that came back with the information.
Mr. Johnson, how many times have you gone over these videos with other people?
Like I said, I've only seen them 4 times. I've only seen this one. This is only the second time I've ever seen this video.
Okay, but you were here, right? You were actually there.
Actually, where?
As far as in this interview, giving this interview, telling this information.
Yes, that was me. That is me.
So technically 3 times.
So we're gonna go get the money. They ask you to rent the truck. What do they do to get ready to go get the money? After what we've seen in planning, what they're doing to get it going.
They put on a pair of black pants and black shirt. One, I guess it's called a neck gaiter.
Okay,
Good things.
who had the net meter in?
I'm talking,
Tyrone, okay,
because he's got a beard.
okay. Did you see Detroit do anything with, like a net gator or anything?
I think he had it just look like what's it called, a beanie, a hoodie maybe,
Okay,
and a freaking mask.
what the mask look like?
Like a demon.
Okay. Like, I mean, you say demon, I see, say, tell me what the describe it like.
It's sharp teeth, like, almost like a dinosaurish type
Okay.
looking thing.
Did Ty have a mask? Okay,
I'm
so they get dressed in black shirts, black pants. Did both of them have gloves on?
I think so.
Okay, and,
I didn't see their gloves in there, they were in the pocket, but I think
okay. And you see Ty put on a gator, kind of hide his goatee. And then Detroit puts on this mask that looks.
Now, Mr. Johnson, you did testify there that yes, I suppose they put on a neck gaiter with, if I remember correctly, it's Jägermeister's written all over it, right?
Yes.
Do any witnesses ever identify that?
Objection, Judge, your proper question.
I'm going to sustain the
Okay.
objection.
Oh,
Was there ever a neck gaiter with Jägermeister written all over it, recovered in any of
No.
the discovery you've seen?
No.
He's not the law enforcement officer who's gathering evidence.
Well, to his knowledge, he can answer to his knowledge.
That's what I was asking.
No, to my knowledge, that was never a piece of evidence that was
Okay.
labeled or taken.
Did they ever find another mask that, to your knowledge?
Outside of the demon?
Yeah.
I think they found like 3.
Okay. And where did those come from, Mr. Johnson?
The warehouse.
But again, they've never been attributed to anybody that you know of.
Nothing I know of, no.
Okay.
Big teeth that looks kind of like a dinosaur. Do they have this stuff on when you first drive by the treehouse?
No.
It's just three guys riding in a truck. So you're driving, where's Detroit City?
Where's the video footage of that?
Behind you. That's everybody that's in the truck. All right. So you drive by, how do you?
He just said there were the three of them drove by and did their scout with no masks on. Where's the video footage of the three of them in the car? They got everything else. Mm.
The place you stay to go back to Treehouse, tell me when you drive.
Around, they come out, take a route, take a surround, then go right back to the house.
Back to the house. Now, what you're talking about in that trip past the Treehouse when you went by real slow.
And that, well, they told me that's it right there.
Okay,
And they said, stop right here.
okay. So the first time you just buy it and they point it out and tell you where it's at. Okay, so now you go back to the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sitting in the parking lot of the house talking again? Okay. So now what happened during the second trip to the Treehouse?
We went upstairs, they got their stuff, we went back, they got out. And they came, or not they, just Tyrone. Okay, back. And I took off.
Okay. The second time when you go
I
back,
didn't see, I don't know what happened in the way.
Okay.
I don't know.
the second time you go, are you sitting in the same spot you're driving?
There are some consistencies here, some. Would you agree?
Somewhat,
Consistencies to your story that you gave today.
yes.
Okay, there are some, right?
And there are some inconsistencies, correct?
Now, again, when we were talking earlier or questioning earlier, again, when did I come back to the warehouse supposedly?
After I returned, after I'd left you guys.
Okay, and about
You
how
just
long
said
did it
that
take you to get
two of them
back
were there.
after you took off?
I don't know exact times, Mr. Tucker. A few minutes, a few seconds. It was relative. For me, it seemed like forever, but it was probably only 2-3 minutes at most, maybe even 20-30 seconds.
Okay.
It's not a very far drive.
It's not a very far jog.
Not a very far walk, not a very far drive,
Yeah.
not a very far run.
Okay. And to be clear, again, your route, she just went over your route. Is that correct?
That's, I believe, what she was doing, yes.
Okay. And would that route be the same route that you were walking with Rory Wilson? Now, the Florida Keys electric video, when you've seen walking with Rory Wilson,
That's
that's the
Second
same,
Avenue.
that's the same road, right?
That's Second Avenue, correct?
And that's the one that you took the truck down, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome back, Gabby. How's your brekkie?
And then you got Rory in front, and Ty in the back, and then you.
You're welcome anytime, Louise.
You said they got their stuff. What did they
Thanks
do?
for joining us.
To go do the- Where did you find it?
He got his mask and their clothes and gloves.
Okay,
And I could tie a hat on. Well, razor knife.
Hmm.
Not a razor knife, but a diet knife.
but just like the kind of straps you like, yeah,
A
okay.
dive
Was it
knife.
finished?
He called it a dive knife. Now, who would have a dive knife? Someone that was looking at maybe starting a business in, what did he call it? Snuba diving? Snorkeling and scuba diving? You're such a suck. Oh, scrambled egg. Oh, now I feel like scrambled egg, but it's 2:00 in the morning. Still doable.
Good guy.
Actually, I think this is the video.
It was.
I believe it's the end of the video. It just cut off, that's all. Now, Mr. Johnson, you said that first you didn't, again, in this, did you say that you didn't know whether or not they had gloves, correct?
Yes, I did say that I don't know if they had them 100%. I wasn't aware. I don't recall seeing them today. I don't
Okay.
recall
No,
them.
it's okay. When Phelps asked you this question again, did you say that they have gloves now?
That's what it sounded like. Yes.
And did you say I had a razor knife?
I said You had a razor knife. No, wait a minute. It was a dive knife.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, I guess we agree there are some major inconsistencies here, correct?
I wouldn't say major, no.
Is there a big difference between a razor knife and a dive knife?
Yes, and I corrected that immediately. If you don't recall, rewind it, listen again, and I corrected that.
Okay, you corrected that.
Yes.
Okay. Did Captain Phelps tell you each part of this story?
No, she did not. She told me her narrative as a detective, what she thought might have happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Due to detective work.
Okay.
I filled in the blanks because she was dead on with her narrative and her motive.
Okay.
And I explained and filled in the pieces for her, Mr. Tucker.
Okay. Mr. Johnson,
You're not a happy chappy.
does she continue to feed you facts as we watch this?
Facts. Yes.
Okay.
She feeds me facts
Okay.
and I verify them for her.
And you
Sure.
verify them for her,
Yes.
right? So again, now what would happen, Mr. Johnson, if those facts aren't true?
Objection, Judge.
Yeah, it's an unclear
Okay.
question.
Okay. Let's put it this way. Has there ever been any evidence or discovery that you have ever seen that verify Captain Phelps' facts?
Objection, Judge.
No.
To that kind of a question.
I'm going to sustain the
Okay.
objection.
Okay. We'll keep on going. Did you?
Isn't the point
Go
of
to
an
the next one, Mr.
investigation to
Mansfield.
follow the evidence? And there
Thank you.
was none. All right. I think we've
Oh.
pretty much established that they're both full of shit.
Did you just tell Captain Phelps?
I told her I didn't see you go into the treehouse
Okay. Oh, so again,
because I didn't.
okay. Okay. You didn't see us go into. You saw us go into the gate, but not into the treehouse. Is that what you're trying to? Is
Yes.
that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Bad pause. Bad pause. What you gonna do?
Is it when you see Tyrone?
Yeah, whenever I walked, I see people across the street, and it's flashing at me. I was like, yes.
Okay,
I don't know what's going on.
describe the image of running across the street. Okay, so you see a flashlight and you think it was a guy. White guy, black guy? Can't tell. Can you hear things going on? Can you hear people?
All I heard him saying was, police.
Okay. Okay. Do you see Ty come running down the road? How's he coming in?
Driving, my passenger side window or passenger side mirror is broken, so I couldn't, and I just saw him.
Okay. So did you take off and go down Second Street to go home?
No, I went straight, like, okay, where it was, turned right.
Went right home. Just got home. Parked the truck. Does Ty come right home? Does Rory come right home? No. When does Rory come home?
He said 5 minutes ago they were both at the house.
Okay. When you and Ty get home, talk about the conversation you and Ty had. What do you see? What did he say?
He really didn't say anything. I was like, oh, man. Where did he go?
Okay.
Yes, no big deal. So,
I can't listen to any more lies.
Not to worry about it.
Worry about it. Okay.
I'm all lied out.
Well, I hadn't been shown the video yet of me walking, so I hadn't owned up to that part of me running into him up the street yet. So right now it's just me basically struggling for
Bullshit.
a description of him best I could.
Okay. Well, again, and I think you said this earlier. I'm not sure. Oh, and you got to excuse me. But no, I think you said earlier, it was you in that video,
Yes.
right? Because you lived it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Why would you need to see a video to know whether or not Rory Wilson was wearing a shirt?
I didn't need a video to see whether or not Rory Wilson was wearing a shirt, but when I was showed the corroborating evidence, the facts hit me in the head like a brick that I was caught. So I needed to come clean about everything.
Mhm.
And the shirt, relevance of the shirt not being on, being off, wasn't registering to me as a problem at this time.
Oh,
Okay. But again, you
I
said
still don't think it's a problem. I
Maybe because the shirt
inconsistency,
had
what I
blood all
remembered at
over
the
it?
time versus what the facts in the video show. I just don't believe that was a relevant question.
Okay. Oops, sorry. Mr. Johnson, this was, you understand this was a murder, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you understand it was supposedly a stabbing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that would imply, I would imagine, that you would understand that there would be blood, correct?
That's what happens sometimes when people get stabbed.
yeah.
I
Good reason
understand
to take your
this.
shirt off.
Mr. Johnson, would you agree that if again, we're talking about a murder and a stabbing, that blood on a shirt might be relevant?
It would be relevant.
Okay.
100%.
Captain Phelps.
That is true. That is not what I just told her.
Just to clarify again, would you consider this being honest?
Judge, objection to the question.
I'm going to overrule the
Yeah.
objection.
No, I would not consider it being dishonest. I would consider it, for a lack of better terms, not 100% thinking about the chain of events clearly enough to convey exactly what had happened. It's only through time that the scenario, that the situation, that the facts had returned through my studying of myself and the discovery of what truly happened. Because at this time, I'm clearly distraught. I'm clearly under duress and not
The facts
making
are
a
the
lot of
facts.
sense. I'm sitting here watching, and I'm not making a lot of sense to myself because of how distraught I was. So details, 100% of the details are not coming out. I do not believe at this time.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, I understand what you're saying. Would you also agree that 6 years at this point is a long time to get it right?
It's a long time to reflect. Yes.
And you did get to look at discovery and evidence.
I had my discovery correct.
Okay. And you did have these discussions with investigators, correct?
Yes, I had talks with investigators, correct.
Okay. So again, would you agree that that is quite a bit of information for you to go over in 6 years?
I would agree. That's a lot of information.
Johnson,
All right. I think we might tie this up, peeps. Watch the very end of it.
Wanting to get high was another motivating, irrational, but motivating factor.
Okay, thank you.
Rewind that bit. Yes.
Why would you want to participate in an armed robbery without getting paid?
I didn't want to get paid because I didn't know, number one, what was going to be taken. Number two, I didn't know you guys. Number three, I did kind of want to get paid because I wanted gas money in my truck. So honestly, there was motivation for me to get involved. Plus, the addiction in my mind of wanting to get high was another motivating, irrational, but motivating factor.
But you didn't discuss that afterwards. You didn't say, where's my crack? Come on, hand it over. Where's my crack? I want to get high. No, we went home, didn't say anything.
Participate in this.
Oh, thank you. Now, Captain Phelps, if I remember correctly, just said $250 to kill a man, right?
That's what she said.
Okay. And you're saying that $50 was more than enough for you.
No, I didn't say that, Tucker. I said that's what I was given for my part. Not more than enough. Not that's my cut. I don't know where you want what you are trying to get me to say. I'm saying that the yes or no answers to your questions. No, I did not say that $50 was enough for me to do this job.
Okay.
Yes, you
Mr.
did.
Johnson, you went on this job, right?
I
That's what you just
participated
called
in
it, a
this
job.
I participated in this crime.
Sustain the objective,
Okay.
objection. It's
Okay.
argumentative. It's been asked and
Okay.
answered.
Okay.
So
Mr.
let's
Johnson,
get through this segment so we can adjourn for the evening. We've got a little bit more here. So if you have any questions that are admissible, you can go ahead.
Mr. Johnson, have you ever done anything like this before?
Objection, Judge.
Just I'm sustaining the objection.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Johnson. Okay. Let's continue with the video.
Mhm.
Worried about what we would do to you.
Yes, context. We, two people against me that I do not know. Yes, I was worried about that.
Okay. Again, now, I assume, again,
But you
Well,
said
my
you weren't
question is-
scared of him.
Mr. Johnson, how much training did you get in the military?
Yeah,
Ample for my
we're still here.
MLS.
We're nearly
For your
done.
MLS. Yes.
Ample training for my MLS.
Oh,
For the
ample.
night,
Is that
anyway.
what you said?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I guess I just didn't catch that. All right, so you got ample training for your MOS. What would that include?
Basic training in AIT.
Okay, and what was your AIT?
AIT is called Advanced Individual Training. My AIT was infantry training.
Okay, and what would that entail? Would that entail hand-to-hand combat?
That would entail many facets of being an infantryman. Hand-to-hand
Yeah,
combat
so you
being
can
one,
protect
yes.
yourself.
Would that would that entail firearms?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, how about knives?
Not so much, no.
Mr. Johnson, did you have a large collection of knives
I did.
when this occurred?
I did.
Okay. And were those knives ever taken into custody by the investigators?
After they executed search warrant on my truck, yes.
After they executed a search warrant on your truck. Now, didn't you say that?
Tucker, did you have any more questions pertinent to
Oh, but
this?
pertinent to this view, you're right. Hold on, Your Honor. For time. We're already over 5 o'clock, Your Honor. Would you like to go to tomorrow at this point?
Yeah, I wanted to complete any questions pertaining to this particular segment. And if
I think
that's done, then.
Yeah, I think we're good with this segment and previous at this point.
All right, thank you. So we're going to
Yay.
adjourn for the evening.
All
members.
right. So, as Louise says, are we still going live? Well, yes, we are, but only till tomorrow night now. So that was day 4 of the trial in January. So tomorrow night, well, my night, your morning, we shall continue with day 5. That was a whole day of just John Travis Johnson. That whole day under direct and cross-examination. And we're not finished, I don't believe, with his cross. So it's amazing how many hours you can fill with bullshit, really, isn't it? All right. Well, thank you, Christine, for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. So yeah. So if you want me to join tomorrow, I can join again.
Okay. No worries. I actually think Tanya might be joining me tomorrow, but I'll keep you up to date. But I'll
Okay.
definitely be here
Okay.
about the same time, sometime between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m.
Okay.
Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'll
See
be
you
here.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, folks. That concludes another day. It's been nearly 4 hours, and my back is in need of some painkillers, and my kitty cats, I need them some loving. So thank you again for joining us, whether you've been on live or on the replay crew. And yeah, if you have enjoyed the content and don't want to miss out on all the action, you can hit that subscribe and like button. That would be amazing. You have an awesome day 2, Hef. It's 2:30 in the morning, so I'm going to bed. All right. It was lovely being here. It was lovely chatting to you all. And I shall see you tomorrow. I bid you adieu.
Covering true crime and police arrest, where the judges move and the defense rests. Watching courts and trials, criminals at best, where the gavel drops and the defense rests. If you love true crime and you want the best, won't you find the time and the defense